Welcome back, everyone. It is episode 269 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am happy to be back with you. I hope you all had an enjoyable, serviceable holiday time with your family. I know I had a good time. How about you, Brett?
Oh, yeah. Like, almost too good. For me, it's like too many days off. And then I feel like out of practice. Like I'm not going to be able to come back and do my job well.
Well, hopefully the show won't be a disaster today.
It's we took an extra day yesterday. I was on the phone for like 6 hours, which is why we should privatize all businesses. Just the free market should reign.
Bumping that music that they play when you're on hold.
Yeah, actually, okay, yes, I have a story. So I was on hold at the DMV between two DMVs, the one in Minnesota and the one here in Maryland, and all of them had very, very like boring hold music that they keep you on, except for this one guy in this one department. Like it was so good, I didn't want it to end, and I actually think that was a tactic. Like he basically uses it. Then it's like, oh my gosh, he was back in no time. But he wasn't actually back in no time. You just actually liked the hold music, so that way
They should have played Christmas music though.
It was after Christmas though, so it wouldn't make any sense.
Oh darn!
It wouldn't make any sense.
Okay, never mind.
Did you get everything you wanted for Christmas this year?
Yes. I cannot disclose all of the things that I got for Christmas.
Can you disclose any of it?
Okay, sure. I got a lot of chocolate.
Oh, well, hey.
That's one thing I got.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
But the rest of it, I have to be tight-lipped.
Fair enough. I see in the chat. Yeah. By the way, chat, we are going to be interacting today. It is just the two of us.
Did you love my gift I gave to you?
I did. In fact, hold on.
He's going to fetch it. I think it's a really genius idea. Totally original. No one else could do it. Bikes, whiskey, and women.
It's Coyote Ugly.
It's fast bikes, good whiskey, and hot women. Coyote Ugly. See, New York City. Because everyone has to believe the meme that, of course, Coyote Ugly is Brett's all-time favorite movie, and he'll never love another movie the way he loves Coyote Ugly.
And let's face it, there's probably not a huge market for Coyote Ugly merch in the year 2022.
No. So it was very easy to find it because people are trying to get rid of it. Get rid of all evidence that I ever watched this movie.
See, that's a problem. Everybody should watch it more. That's what they should be doing.
Well, what you should do is just go to the bar, like in real life.
That would be so boring, though, because I can't drink.
Darn. Well, then you'd ask for water, and then they would do the bit where they like spray you with water and then beat you up or something.
In fact, you couldn't even do that bit now in 2022 because it would be considered insensitive. Because then someone's like, "Well, what if I'm sober? I can't drink. I can't." And then they're like,
"That's literally
too bad."
You literally don't drink though.
Yeah. But I'm saying like that. Like then you're like, "Oh, you're gonna hose me down with water because
that's the fun part."
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the fun part of going there.
It's funny because we were talking earlier off air about like the complaints about like how everyone feels like they have to be like they're overcoming some thing these days. Yeah. And I was watching a video on a lady who opened like a non-alcohol bar. And she's like, she posts all these messages about like, it'll never work. I mean, it does sound like something that wouldn't work, but it's like, I'll never understand the attitude of like say this show blew up one day. I'm not going to go find a bunch of messages from people who like say like this show sucks or this show, like I'm not going to put the time into clapping back. Like they're like, I was watching a thing about Taylor Swift over the weekend. They were talking about how I guess she invited like all of her graduating class to like the music awards or like the country music awards or to like whatever the American music awards are. And like she invited them because apparently she was bullied in high school.
Okay. No, she wasn't. And I hate when people imply that she was.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it wasn't even her graduating class because apparently it was like the class under her. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, that's just petty. You're just petty.
Well, the truth is that Taylor Swift got, slightly made fun of like a lot of people were in middle school, but she was, I mean, if you look at any picture of her from when she was in high school, you can tell that she was incredibly popular. Yeah. And otherwise, why would you have so many songs about all of the boys you dated on the football team?
Fair. That's a fair point.
I mean, I'm observing. I'm pointing out facts.
It just seems like everyone needs to be overcoming something and nobody. Thank you. Thank you,
Well,
guys.
what was it? You're not neurodivergent.
Yes.
You're weird in average ways.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
remember the rest of the tweet.
It was like the most prophetic thing I'd ever read. I wish I still had that. I don't have it open now, but yeah, it's like you're not neurodivergent. You're just weird in average ways. You're not overcoming narcissists. They're just people that are that you don't get along with. Stuff like that. It's like you're like all the things that you're going through. It doesn't invalidate them. It doesn't mean you're not going through something. It's just not super not norm. It's just not super
It's main
out of the
character
norm.
syndrome,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of that to review on our docket today.
Yes, we got to. So speaking of today, we are going to talk about J.K. Rowling. We had that one person say it was said Rowling or Rowling. Now I second guess it.
It's
every time
definitely Rowling, though.
Okay, well,
I'm just gonna go with that.
I'm still saying Rowling because that's what I always said. J.K. Rowling. So J.K. Rowling. She's still causing all sorts of problems amongst Harry Potter fans because they just can't decide whether they want to support her or not. And I guess in a lot of ways, I can't blame them for going through the same thing that us people, us people on the other side of the aisle have pretty much had to do for a long, long time, which is learn how to separate art from artists. But they're very mad, and now they're having subreddits banned and all sorts of problems. We're going to talk about that. Akon, what is this your favorite topic today, Akon?
I find it tiring and infuriating.
Okay. Well, Akon is very supportive of Nick Cannon and his 11 children. We're going to get into that. My thumbnail just says Akon supports polygamy because he has three wives and 9 kids. As far as I know, he still has the original report.
Could be more than 3.
Could be more than 3 wives
for
now.
sure.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this creepy new TikTok trend, which I think is just literally the commodification of natural human emotions mixed with the weird hero cult worship we have of celebrities now.
I support it. I think we're going to disagree with that strongly.
Weird. So we're going to talk about that. And then Pokimane wants to send you to jail, my friends. You.
Get ready.
In the chat. They want to send you to jail. And then we got a bunch of other stuff at the end. We're going to touch a little bit on The Witcher and the absolute disaster that's going on with Blood Origin. We're going to talk about Robert Downey Jr. Ezra Miller, scratch one name off the list today. And we're going to talk about this creepy thing that I found from Lily Allen last week that was so creepy I had to save it so that we could at least mention it today. So, Mary, if you are ready, we will get right into it.
Yes, I am ready.
Oh, actually, before we start, guys, could you hit the like button? Could you hit the subscribe button? If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, leave comments on these videos. It helps the channel a lot. I need to do that call to action more. So hit the like button.
Thank you kindly.
All right. So it says, J.K. Rowling is forcing an impossible decision on Harry Potter fans with Hogwarts Legacy.
The framing here is incredible.
Yes.
J.K. Rowling is forcing her fans. I mean, I was aghast at this because she probably has very little idea of what Hogwarts Legacy even is, other than the fact that she's going to get royalty checks off of it.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question because she was so hands-on with the movies. She was so involved in the movie process. But how much can she really know about video? What if somebody was learn to code to her and she had to go learn to code?
Well, right now she basically just has a licensing approval team that approves these projects for her that are ancillary to the books and films.
Yep.
So she likely has very little clue about what Hogwarts Legacy really is. People are really excited about it, though.
It's also funny too because I pointed out earlier, I said it feels like they're all going through the 5 stages of grief, trying to accept that they're either going to have to buy the game and support somebody they consider to be transphobic, or they're going to have to miss out on something that they love dearly, which is anything to do with Harry Potter.
We already covered part of this story because there was this trans YouTuber / streamer that tweeted any support of new Harry Potter franchise merch or any products related to Harry Potter that you buy new now is actively harming the trans community because you're giving money to J.K. Rowling.
Any of them at all.
Yeah. You're generously allowed to keep your old Harry Potter merch and your old books.
Well, yeah.
But if you buy anything new, then you are a transphobe.
It's kind of like the argument that I always made that I said it was easier for me to watch. If I find out that a celebrity is nuts on Twitter, it's easier for me to watch it. I consider it easier now for me to watch it all. I can watch somebody who I know is nuts on Twitter. It doesn't bother me when I watch stuff. But for a long time, it did. It bothered me when somebody would say something crazy that I disagreed with, and then I'd have to watch something new that they came out with, and it would bother me. It would affect how I saw the performance. That doesn't really happen anymore. But it never affected how I saw the material that they made before they made that comment. That feels like they're like, I'm grandfathering in the old books. I'm grandfathering in the old shows. How does it relate to streaming though? Because what if you like want to watch Harry Potter on streaming and you pay your subscription every month? Does that contribute to that? Or is that only contributing to Warner Brothers, who is then paying J.K. Rowling the license to use it?
Yeah, it's a very like Soviet Union snitching kind of brain dead take where, you know, you can do this as long as no one finds out. Yeah. Then, you know, it's permissible as long as it's a secret.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of them do, like in private. Like, it's like it's their little secret between them and their tablet, them and their video games. So like they're like what was it like last time we were talking about, like they're like hiding stuff from their bookshelves so that people wouldn't know that they had the books.
Yeah. Like so we're like seeing these people in the case of Hogwarts Legacy basically having an aneurysm trying to figure out whether or not it's ethical to buy this video game. The video game is what people are calling like Red Dead Redemption in the Harry Potter universe. I was kind of hoping it would be more like Grand Theft Auto in the Harry Potter universe. That would be a lot more interesting to me. But you know, it looks interesting and really well made. And everyone who wants to buy it is just like denying to themselves that they want to buy it.
Yeah, they can't
and instead
like themselves.
Yeah, like claiming that it's a poorly made product. It's going to be buggy, whatever.
That was my favorite part. That was like the ultimate cope.
They've been making this thing since 2017, which by the way is before J.K. Rowling ever received any scrutiny for like comments about gender ideology. It's also just
something.
Like that.
It's also just something you say when you want to hurt somebody's feelings, not because there's actually any evidence to it. It probably will have bugs, but it's not like this person will know firsthand that was the case. They're saying that because they don't like her. That's the part I found funny.
As usual, the mental illness is concentrated on Reddit. So there's this subreddit called Gaming Circle Jerk in which there was a post that said, a nice reminder from your mod team that this woman is a TERF, J.K. Rowling, and everyone who commits to supporting her economically is also a transphobe in the context of buying this game. And then they got a huge reaction from a lot of Harry Potter fans who disagreed.
Yeah.
And then the mods just banned all of them.
I got a question. I got
mass banned thousands of people.
I got an honest question for you and the chat. How many people do you think outside of Twitter and the space that we operate in here, how many people do you think if you ask them, what's a TERF, do you think that they would actually know what the hell that meant?
No normal person walking on the street that you find knows what TERF means. I think it's a shame that even J.K. Rowling knows what TERF means.
I mean, that's kind of my point is like,
Mary TERF miss.
They think the product is made for them. The product is not made for them. The product is made for the people not on Twitter. The product, if anything, the product is made for the normies. They use you and take you for granted as someone they assume will then promote it, good or bad, because you're so heavily invested in it. But they're not building it with you in mind. They build these things with normies in mind.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole fandom culture around Harry Potter and other franchises that kind of infantilizes adult enthusiasts of these stories. Like, I think that there's a dignified way to enjoy the stories and movies and books that you love without like being mindless consumerist about it.
I've noticed that Harry Potter has become kind of a holiday tradition. It's
Really?
becoming a Halloween to Christmas type thing where they start advertising it more on the streaming services around the holidays. And I see lots of like TikToks and videos. Thank you.
Well, there's the costumes with Halloween.
Yeah. But I see a lot of TikToks and stuff of like couple. It's like, I love normie TikTok and I love normie Instagram. And it's like this first sign of snow, they like jump in on the couch and put on a warm blanket and watch Harry Potter movies all weekend. It's like there's this great video I was watching this weekend of this guy who talks about millennials, about how they've become infatuated with the idea of having no life. I don't have a life. I just sit home and watch documentaries. And it's this guy in the in the crowd as he keeps saying this. He's like at his graduation, and then the guy's like, "Yeah, we do stay home and watch our documentaries." And it's like they brag about having no life for someone their age. Because it's like that's like a thing, but that's like a big part of it is like Harry Potter's kind of become synonymous with this time of year. Like, so,
I haven't noticed that as much, but like you're a fan of the original books and the movies, right?
I mean, I don't watch the movies anymore, but I still love. I haven't read the books in years. But I love the idea of loving the movies, but I never did love them.
I remember that like a couple of years ago, I turned on the first Harry Potter film, and I had not read any of the books because I was not allowed to read any of the books or watch any of the movies growing up.
Yeah.
But I started the first one. I got like 15 minutes in or less, and I was just like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, the movies make no sense.
Idea.
The movies are made with the understanding that you've read the books. Like, if there's a great, I've mentioned this guy before. There's a guy named Dominic Noble who does a series called Lost in Adaptation, where he watches movies and reads books and then compares the two. And he points out all the places in those movie series. It's called like the Potterthon or something, where he goes through all the books and all the movies. And he points out, like, this wouldn't make sense to you if you hadn't read it, this, like, and if you've read it, your mind fills in the gaps there. But also, speaking of the movies, guys, there is a rumor now that they are going to reboot the Harry Potter movies. And I want this to be, like, this is my point. This will be where the shoe drops for all of you people that have loved or have hated watching properties you love get destroyed, and then have people say either it wasn't made for you, or why do you care if they recast it? Why do you care if they race swap? Why do you care if they gender swap? This is the movie series that will finally help.
The ultimate test.
Because these people who are saying these things to you don't have book franchises that they love.
Yeah, I think it's all like wokeness for thee, but not for me, and my special... like my love for this franchise can't be tainted by your wokeness, but like everything else can die.
So once this movie comes out and Harry Potter is Afro-Caribbean and gay, you will find out that the people suddenly do have a problem with the fact that that they've race and gender stuff, because it's what they love.
Yeah,
it's
I think a lot of people are already getting tested right now with the Hogwarts legacy controversy, but I see a lot of them responding like, I'm sorry, I don't care what J.K. Rowling has tweeted, I'm buying this game.
Yeah.
One person said, if you think playing Hogwarts Legacy is the most morally ambiguous choice I've ever made, I have upsetting news for you.
I love it.
They said, F that lady for being mean to y'all on the internet, but I'm going to be learning to make spells and fly on a broom at 144 frames per second. It is what it is.
Isn't that just gloriously normal?
Yeah.
Like, gloriously, like, yeah, good for you, but I'm going to be over here doing my thing.
Like, what a relief. Another person said, on the other hand, I canceled my Hogwarts Legacy purchase, got too caught up in the hype, and then J.K. Rowling reminded me again why I just need to close the book on Harry Potter for good. And then they posted this screenshot of J.K. Rowling tweeting Merry Turfmas earlier this month.
That is kind of cheesy.
That was like... okay, way too on the nose.
Is there
and then I saw like this, someone tweeted a screenshot from a Mary Sue article that was like 10 things you can buy instead of wasting your money on Hogwarts Legacy. Ugh. And one of the things that they recommended was a Harry Potter themed wand dildo. So yeah, that's the best they can do. Coming up with alternatives for the video game. Not interested.
Is there any franchise or anything that you care about that you would feel this close to, that you're connected to in a way that you don't feel like the authors, like if the author made comments that you disagreed with would affect your view of the material?
Literally every author of every book that I like, and every singer of every band that I like, or every actress or actor in a show or movie that I like.
Yeah.
Has opinions I vehemently disagree with. It's not that big of a deal.
I feel like we're actually blessed to have that ability to like understand early on that your worldview doesn't have to be shaped by the people who create the media that you like.
Right.
Because it kind of forces you to question, not just question your own beliefs, but think more critically of others. Because otherwise people just point, click, consume and don't think twice about it and just agree with whatever they hear. And, it's almost not even their fault, because society's been programmed and designed in such a way at this point that it's like you just buy and consume all the time. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize how much there is out there that if you looked into it a little bit deeper, you might disagree with. I just was talking to my dad on Christmas, and we were talking about Twitter. And he had no, like, I was like, we were talking about why the media is so evil. I was like, do you have any idea what the Twitter files are? He says, no. I'm like, that's why the media is evil. Because you don't know what they are. Because you have no idea what's going on. But we had to see, like, that information has to be sussed out. You have to go search for it. Most people aren't out there searching for information. So if a celebrity says something that sounds good on the face of things, they just accept that as like, yeah, I agree. Because it's all platitudes. J.K. Rowling's like that for the most part. She was like that for the most part until trans exclusionary radical feminism.
I don't think that people should be sussing out all of that information about the properties they like, because it would be a mind-numbing and fruitless task. Yeah. Because, I mean, like this one tweet said, enjoy squandering $70. Every one of us sane people will be playing games that don't contribute to a transphobe's income. Like, what you're not realizing is that there are, people you would consider transphobes involved in literally every project or every company that you support.
What about crypto transphobes who just don't tell you they're transphobes?
Right, exactly. Like, I'm sorry, but there are people who you would not like in every corner of society. I don't think that you would even be happy if you heard like what your faves are saying in, polite company when you're not allowed to listen. It's just like a cognitive dissonance that they have about authors.
That part's really funny too, because whether people want to believe it or not, the world hasn't changed that much. No. And your conversations in the real world are vastly different than the ones that happen online, just because of the nature of transcript communication means that there's a record of everything and everyone says stuff. At the very least, you're less guarded with what you say in the real world because you know that it's not going to be screenshotted and shared with everyone around the world. But it's funny. I was thinking about today, everything we communicate with is fake. This is a little bit of an aside. Anytime, like I was looking at these old photos, I was looking through an old photo album of, I had like this thing of, it's like old candid photos taken of like actors on movie sets back when people were still taking photos on like 35 millimeter film, right? And just think about it this way. If you ever, like nowadays, you'll never get that again because you take the picture twice. How often do you just take a picture on your phone of yourself or of somebody else once? No, you retake it. Oh, that doesn't look right. We have to take it again. The world is not as different in the real world as it was before, but everything digitally is 100 times more fake.
You mentioned a bar made just for non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah. I think like a more lucrative idea might be a bar or like some kind of space where you are not allowed to bring your cell phones.
Yeah. It's at all. Drake parties.
Is that true?
I mean, a lot of rappers, you have to check your phone at the door.
I think that's good for human interaction.
I mean, maybe not with, like, celebrities. I mean, anytime a celebrity doesn't want to record
normal
something.
People.
Yes. Among normal people. Like, it feels that way. And, like, you're really good about this. Like, you are not attached to your phone. You're very, very good about, like, you live, like, when we're talking, me and you are talking. And, like, you go around. You don't have your phone everywhere on you. Most people aren't like that anymore. Most people have their phone on them all the time. Mm-hmm. Or their phone is always in their hands.
Yeah, because right? I find it, like, a highly overstimulating and unpleasant most of the time. So
and it gets worse the longer
maybe
you're
that's just my, like, hint of the tism in me that makes me put it down. But
it's the same thing for like I have less self-control, but like I have to eventually go out and skate because it's like if I'm at the house, even if I'm working, I'm on my phone too much, right? And
sometimes we have to use it because we are paying attention to online conversations.
In the chat, so he says, normal people, what the F does that even mean today? Well, what does normal even mean today?
I mean, the people who don't know what TERF means. The people who don't know about J.K. Rowling's nuanced opinions about gender ideology.
It's like what my note card says, opinions totally devoid of nuance, totally void of nuance. And then the other part was, it was like, there's more nuance offline. Right? So you're allowed to have more nuanced takes offline because you can tell tone of voice. And like, if J.K. Rowling talked to most of these people in the real world, I bet you they could come to some type of middle ground. Mm-hmm. but the internet doesn't allow that. And
I mean, I don't even know about these people in the real world because we see how they behave in the real world quite often.
Are these the same people that are throwing soup on paintings for climate change?
I couldn't care less what J.K. Rowling thinks about gender ideology or feminism. Like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
The game looks cool, though. I saw some people saying they're not going to play it because it was made by women. So they're really enlightened.
Dustin says none of us are normies. Yes, he's right. Nobody in the chat, and certainly not me and you are what you. I consider myself.
You're keeping up with the Joneses. It's antithetical to being a normie.
I consider myself a normie in a lot of respects, but at least I think of myself as a normie, like more so than most people in this space. Like, I'm not overly like, I have my opinions, but I'm also very live and let live. And I'm like, you know what? It's whatever. I feel like a normie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the chat thinks I'm the opposite.
Someone said Mary's sensitive to the 5G. Yeah, it's like frying my brain.
Could be.
Let's go to Super Chats. Rega Tan said, PCC watched Chainsaw Man. The MC is just like me, for real, for real.
I've heard good things.
Caper2X said, disappointed, Brett. I hope to get you to sing happy birthday to me yesterday. Mary, did you get your Wednesday American Girl doll? I didn't get any American Girl dolls.
Not getting those anymore because
I'm
they're
kind
creepy.
Yeah. American Girl is not. It ain't what it used to be, from what I hear, and I knew that was going to happen.
Busta Cap in the chat says you can't classify yourself. That's cheating. So I'm not allowed to classify myself.
Yeah,
because
normies don't know what normies are. You know, Caper2X, happy one day late birthday. Potatoes for Seamus said.
Wait, say that last one again. Whose birthday?
It was Caper2X's birthday yesterday. He wanted to get you to sing happy birthday to him. I don't know if you're going to do that.
First of all, we can't, because that is against the law. You cannot sing.
It's copyrighted.
It is copyrighted. Yeah. You cannot sing the happy birthday song. Is that like a sabotage move?
Is he sabotaging our monetization now?
Dude, that's mean.
Potatoes for Seamus said, have Sarah on the show and play piano. Also, Mary, where's your glasses? Brett, love the shirt. Mary, you gave me nightmares for Christmas.
He explained. He could better explain it. It had something to do with like the one vlog where you're up in the attic with the flashlight.
He had like a nightmare about that.
That would probably
ominous.
That would probably give me nightmares too if I actually. I don't remember dreams ever.
We have asked Sarah to be on the show. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, Sarah, we would love to have Sarah on.
Yes. I need to stop watching YouTube, said Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secretions.
I can't believe
you guys are so immature.
I can't believe you read that one. I thought you would have skipped that one.
I don't know. I'm just on one today.
All right.
Waffles Sensei said, not buying Hogwarts Legacy because of J.K. Rowling is Hufflepuff energy.
It kind of is.
Hufflepuffs are the people who call themselves empaths, but are actually like the rudest people you've ever met.
It costs nothing to be kind to someone. It costs nothing.
It costs $0 not to be a transphobe or a homophobe.
I'm also seeing in the chat they're saying happy birthdays in the public domain now. I'm still not singing it because I can't sing. You don't want me to sing you happy birthday.
Professor Dolt said Harry Potter bugs aren't a bug, they're a feature. Carnell said, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hail PCC.
We are very happy to have you back, Mary. Do you know how quiet is it up here when you're like preparing the show and there's nobody and Mary's not up here? I'm just like
bleak.
Up here, like I'm just like up here and I'm like humming to myself.
Kind of going crazy.
Yeah. Nope.
AK Storm 49 said, listening 10 minutes behind Mary, Red Dead is GTA in the Old West. How do you differentiate GTA and Red Dead?
I guess then it would just be that.
I didn't think that Red Dead had like options to like go to strip clubs and stuff, but I don't know. I haven't played either of them. I only watch people play video games on the internet.
Fat Thor 420 says, Mary wilding out today. It's Bad App's day for the chat to get his chats to get read. Yeah, you're on one today. Bad App. Bad App needs to get in the chat and give it another shot.
I don't feel like I am wilding out. Biddy Beasley said, the world hasn't changed that much. Me and my wife going to lunch last Saturday at our local spot that's having a kid-friendly drag dance brunch. I am so sorry that you had to see that.
Okay, let me rephrase my point here.
Yikes.
Society has changed. I don't believe that us as human beings, the way we communicate with one another has changed all that much. I think that we've allowed the norms to be pushed culturally very, very far. But I don't believe that the average person who said something off color 10 years ago is any less likely to say something off color to that small group of friends that they've always had. Because they understand that those friends are the ones that they spoke to that way beforehand. I believe that our language has changed very, very subtly. I do have a wild story about we talk about in skating, right? It was if you're getting frustrated and you yell, it used to be very common to call something gay. Mm-hmm. You didn't actually mean it offensively, but back in the day, that was a very normal thing to say. It's obviously not normal, and it's considered not kosher anymore. It's not allowed. And we were talking about it one day because it slipped. It was somebody let it slip while skating, and they looked mortified, didn't mean anything by it, but just let it slip. So things have changed, but yeah. I don't believe that our inclinations toward one another have changed that much.
I don't think that people who are into drag and those drag performances and all that LGBT subculture understand that their existence or their ability to exist freely hinges upon existing in the fringe and the subset and the underground of society and not in the mainstream.
And it used to be embraced that way. They used to, because they felt different, it always felt to me that they wholeheartedly embraced what that meant and they were okay with that.
Yeah. Reggaeton.
But it kind of goes to what we talk now about how everyone seems to be wants to fight the man but seeks the approval of Disney. Everyone's I'm not I fight the system. I hate capitalism, but they simp hard for Disney.
Well, I guess it's about infiltrating.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality of it. Reggaeton said, I've heard good things. Watch it, Brett. Watch.
If you can find me more hours in the day.
That would definitely be helpful.
Also in the chat, Busta Cap says, just a public service. Brett means fruit booting when he says skating. Yes, skating, rollerblading, blading, all the same.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Fruit booting was once a derogatory term for skating because it was supposed to be, what's the hardest thing about telling your parent or about rollerblading, telling your parents you're gay, and then that was the big joke, and it's dude, I laughed so hard when you said that. I'm gonna totally reevaluate all my life decisions based on your really, really clever joke that you totally came up with on your own. Mm-hmm. All right, we are moving on, guys. So Akon, who I didn't know until recently was apparently a polygamist. Is that a proper way to phrase it? If you have 3 wives and 9 children?
It's not legal to marry multiple people in this country yet, but I assume he just had unofficial ceremonies with multiple women.
Isn't that what the sister wives thing is? One of them gets married legally and then the other one, it's just a religious ceremony?
Yeah.
Something like that? What's going on?
He's openly admitting that he is pro polygamy in a recent interview with ZZ Mills. The interviewer, I was shocked, is she started on this topic saying that she doesn't believe men can be with just one woman. They can't be in a monogamous relationship, and he agrees. And the interviewer asks, do you agree with Nick Cannon and his spreading of his seed? If you're unaware, Nick Cannon is the father of 11 children with multiple women.
You know what this is?
He's the sole reason that we're not going to be extinct as a species.
This is what this is. This is rich man's privilege. If there's a poor man that wants to do this, he can get paid for it by going to the sperm bank. And
true.
he could take. What he is he's being
Such
short-sighted.
A double standard.
No, what it is he's being done with his money. He could be getting paid for this, instead he's paying out. That's a problem.
Yeah. So here's how he responded. I agree with him 1,000%. That's how life is supposed to be. He's rich, responsible, takes care of every one of those children. The baby mothers are with it. They hurt for nothing, and they live comfortably.
I mean, isn't this what Elon Musk is doing with his 9,000 kids?
I was reminded of that, and in fact, that's why I kind of resent the way Akon racialized this issue. So then the interviewer said, "What about the kids, though?" And Akon has said, "What about them? Nick is there for every one of them. He's there for every single one of those kids. I got 9 children, and I'm there for every one of mine." And then the interviewer says, "Every single time? You're at every single recital?" And Akon responds rather glibly, "No, that's a white man's thing. Who gives a F about a recital? Listen, my job is to raise my kids to be responsible, to be understanding, to protect their mother, to give a hand with their father, and to assist with family planning, and to be responsible adults.
It's funny.
My job ain't to be doing all that extra stuff, all these holidays and recitals and all that. Guess what? While I'm taking care of my responsibilities to make sure the family has a roof over their head and food, if I have time to do that, then yes, I will do that."
He's right about parts of it. He's right about wanting to raise the kids to be good people. He's just not right about, you also need to do more than just teach them specific life lessons and set up those types of boundaries and lessons that they have to learn. There's other things involved too, right? Is that a Western ideal that you only are there for the kids' recitals, and are you supposed to be there for all of it? Like, I believe that in the West, we believe that like it's very important that you should nurture your kids. Like my dad was a hockey coach on top of the fact that I played hockey, right? So he was there for that. Mm-hmm. That's important. Like, was that important to me? I don't know. I'm assuming it mattered to me.
It would, but the thing is, Brett, like it's something you only notice when you lack it.
Yeah.
And I think it's absurd that he would say, "Oh no, that's a white man's thing."
the racialization
he's putting
is stupid.
It down as something that's wrong with white people's family culture. And really, it's like a strength of those families when it does work like that.
And I suppose,
it's increasingly not even normal in different racial demographics. But like with Elon, for instance, he's even a unique example because he does most of his reproduction via IVF. So he's having children with these women in like test tubes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like an asexual reproduction thing for him that seems more like strategic than having to do with low impulse control. Like I've said before that I feel like Elon Musk,
the opposite of low impulse. It seems very, very planned.
I feel like Elon Musk, like if he could reproduce by like single cell, like in a single cell organism way by like duplicating himself, then he would do that. But because the next best thing is doing IVF with a bunch of different women who work for his company, that's what he does. But like in Akon's case and in Nick Cannon's case, there's, I think, like all the talk of valuing family, but they're not actually willing to back it up with their actions. Like the easy part of that is getting pregnant, but it's also the hard part is staying for 18 years.
And the other thing is, like, first of all, he doesn't have any evidence that it works better this way, because I don't know how old those kids are, but they're likely not all full grown. And like, do you have examples of like which ones turned out? Like, it'd be interesting, like which kids turned out the most normal, and then which ones did you go to the most? Which ones did you go to their basketball games or their baseball games? Which ones did you go to their dance recitals? I also love that recitals are the childhood equivalent to George Clooney being the handsome man that we compare celebrities to. It's still recitals. It's not
has
like
to be mentioned.
It's like I didn't go to my kid's TikTok. I didn't help my kid make his TikTok videos. That's what it would be like now, right? But like, it would be interesting to look at that. It's like, look, I didn't take it for granted. Like, I always had a parent there that was like, my dad took me to all the sports that I played. My mom and my dad both worked, but my dad was still involved in my hockey. My mom was it was actually a joke that like my mom, like if they wanted me to score a goal, my mom had to leave because she would never, like, I would never score. I wouldn't even know when she was there, but for some reason, like if she would leave to go smoke, I would always score. So they'd like, they'd say go outside so Brett can, So it's like how do you know? How can he know yet whether it actually works? Because it's like, first of all, you're right. He's trivializing the emotional aspect.
Well, it's like material needs are the only needs that exist. Is just like
short-sighted,
factually false, short-sighted. And I think it's also bizarre that Akon would act like all of the men out there listening to this and like clapping for this take are in the same financial standing as him. They're most definitely not. Also, they most definitely aren't in any financial position to be providing for multiple families. But and then they are like clapping for this take because it absolves them of responsibility to do both. Like, no, you have no monetary or emotional responsibility toward your children. That's not what needs to be out in the media today, but like, it makes sense that they're bolstering a message like this because it's from a celebrity, and if a celebrity said it, well, of course it's true.
It's also interesting too because, like, from what I read, both I couldn't find anything on the women that Akon is married to, but the women that Cannon's married to seem to think he's a great guy. Like,
sure, but it's like that's some kind of that's a lifestyle that you opt into, and I don't think that makes them great mothers as well. I'm not absolving the mothers of responsibility either. I think that's to knowingly like have children with a man that already has multiple families before you. It shows that like you are okay with that. Like, you're basically complicit in that lifestyle, and that's what you want. But again, it's short-sighted, and I think probably these women are just like happy to be provided for materially, but
well, look at
don't value themselves enough to look for more than that.
Do you think the Kardashians make it to all the recitals?
I was just like watching this video of Kim Kardashian recently saying that she goes to painstaking effort to shield her children from all information regarding their family drama and the strife between her and Kanye. Ye. And she seems very confident that her children don't know any of these details. And I wouldn't be so sure. Like, she claims that she has, information about what the kids at their school talk about, and claims that none of them bring up any of this stuff that cycles through the news with Ye. But like, I just wouldn't be so sure. And they also have, social media. At least North is on TikTok. Like, how do you not come across that when you're unsupervised on the internet? It's just very naive to think that. Celebrities do not shield their children.
At their wealth level, there's nannies, there's assistants, there's a whole group of people that are raising their kids to do a job that in the average American family has to be done by just two people. Mm-hmm. Even then, like when you think about like how many family members used to be involved in the traditional raising of a child, like the term it takes a village isn't just something you say. That's something that held true in a lot of cases. But for something like this, what's funny is like, Nick Cannon is also super racist. Like, super.
How so?
He had a video a couple years ago that I don't think he ever even apologized for, where he basically talked about how like black people are the superior race. He's a Farrakhan dude. He loves Farrakhan. And so he's got his own hot takes.
I think if you truly thought that, then wouldn't it make sense for you to have a one strong, stable family unit that is self-contained and not pretend that you're the next coming of Genghis Khan? Like, it's just like a sad imitation of what a warlord used to be. And you're actually just like you're a rather like tepid and weak-willed media personality.
Yeah.
And I think that this is all just a big compensation for the fact that they've been emasculated. And, that's another conversation. I don't think they're willing to admit that. But like, this is like obviously behavior that's compensating for feeling emasculated.
So do we give Elon a pass? Like, does Elon get a pass because he didn't racialize it?
No, I don't think it's a racial issue. I think
it's not. I'm saying, but they made it a racial issue. It's stupid, but
sure.
It's a wealth issue. For them, it's a wealth issue. It's just it's a class issue that it's obviously it's a social.
All of the tweets I saw in support of Akon's comments were from men that are definitely not nearly as well off as Akon. So he's speaking to an audience of people that just want to absolve themselves of responsibility. Elon, however, I don't think he would promote his lifestyle to people in the middle class at all. I think he would say like, no, that's stupid. But I think it's stupid no matter what wealth bracket you're in, because I'm sorry, but like even monogamy with all its flaws, for people from any walk of life, it's the best thing we've got, and you kind of just need to like humble yourself and not act like you found the secret ingredient to
it's also funny because one of the most common stories in all of Hollywood movies and television is the story of like a kid who comes from wealth but dad was never there, and he grows up somewhat maladjusted and has to find his own way.
That's like such a trope,
because
right?
he didn't have a dad that was there to guide him, teach him right from wrong. And yeah, some of that is showing up to your recitals, or in this case, for guys, maybe it's more your sporting events or whatever it is that you're passionate about. It is not just the job of the parent to make sure that you can do that activity. It's the job of a parent to try to inspire you to become more involved in whatever it is. Like, well, the things that I love to do, my dad didn't just support that I did them. He also encouraged me to keep going, right? Like, it was actually a big issue. Not a big, it was like a thing. Like when I quit hockey, it kind of broke my dad's heart. Like, because he played hockey. He loved hockey. I loved hockey growing up, but I found skating. Skating became more important to me. I had to choose between the two. I picked skating. But he never stopped encouraging me from doing what I wanted to do because he was a good dad. Mm-hmm. So it is funny to watch them assume that money is a way to absolve you of your responsibility as a parent, that it's more than just financial duty.
Because then it causes even more interpersonal strife when they're fighting over who gets what.
Yeah. Yep.
Like who doles out the resources.
I still can't believe that Kanye has to pay child support. Like, that's crazy.
What was it again? It's like $200K per month.
At least it's not alimony. He's not paying alimony.
I mean, it's nothing to both of them. So it really still, ultimately doesn't matter.
Like, it's just funny to think that dude who just had his wealth cut more than in half is now paying.
It's probably just the equivalent of like tuition for their schools.
Like, he's paying the woman who wouldn't denounce Balenciaga because it might affect her bottom line. He's paying her money. Life ain't fair, dude.
Well, I mean, he stands with Balenciaga too, so I don't know what that's about.
Pass on that one. So I mean, I think you're right. The biggest problem here is not like do whatever you want. It's your life. I think you're probably screwing up your kids, but promoting it as a healthy lifestyle to people who can't actually afford it or have really thought it through seems like a very, very stupid thing to do.
Yeah. And that's all the people I saw applauding it. So,
All right.
Let's read a few of these super chats. Caper2X said, Mary, Elon pairs with very smart women, then he keeps them out of the spotlight. I wonder what is the plan behind it.
Wait, is Grimes considered really smart woman?
I think she's smart. Maybe hasn't treated her brain the best though.
I don't know if really. I mean, I don't know her, but
well, she's at least like she's highly creative,
She had that picture.
That takes something.
That troll picture with the Communist Manifesto.
She does like know how to work the media, and
that made me laugh.
She's very creative, and I like her music.
Elon should open a sperm bank. That's what he should do. Just Elon. It should be called Elon since it's just him.
Yikes! I mean, that would remove his ability to control all of it, though.
That's a good point.
So. Nathan Koss said, being a good financier does not mean you're a good father. The guy who teaches the kid how to ride the bike is the dad. Who cares who bought it?
There's also the opposite school of thought of people like the guy. There's like a lot of people believe that the stepdad propaganda that we see nowadays, where it's like, they feel like the media pushes that because it allows women to make more bad choices about marriage and sexual relationships early on. So it's like when you teach men that you should embrace like raising another person's child, that they talk about how it's like that was like it is a noble goal, right? If the father isn't there and you step up to do that job, that is a noble thing to do. But the idea in the media is that they support it because it's enabled women to make poor choices and not think more critically about who they're actually having children with or planning a family more effectively.
As an overarching point, I think celebrities should not be telling us the rules for how to live our lives when their lives don't resemble ours.
Well, isn't that the biggest problem that we have is like, I don't need, I will not tell a millionaire how to live their life because I can't imagine what the struggles are that they're going through. They have their own problems. Like, I've made that point a million times. I'm like, look, just because they have a lot of money does not mean that their life is easy. I understand that, but don't presume to know mine or tell me how to live my life either. And we'll all be good.
AK Storm 49 said, no strip clubs in Red Dead, but you can pay a woman to help you bathe before going to the saloon to get pissed drunk and get into bar fights. Close.
There you go.
Yeah, close enough.
You know, my favorite scene from 1883 was the scene where Tim McGraw's character in Faith Hill, like the husband and wife, I always forget the names in the show. It's been so long since I watched it. Where after they meet up for the first time, after he's traveled here, they like bathe together, and it's done in this really like tender and romantic way, and I think it works because they're married in real life, so there's like an intimacy there that wouldn't have been there if it was it would have felt less realistic maybe, like because they're husband and wife in the show and their husband and life in real life, so like it felt like maybe because I knew that the scene hit different. Very interesting.
I don't know. Haven't seen it. Alex Making Beds and Yes Chairs also said, hi, Mary, have Brett read. And I'm not going to read that. I don't think Brett wants to read it either.
Sperm budget.
Okay,
there
he read
go.
it.
I did it. What is the sperm budget this month, they say? All right,
guys, we're moving on.
We are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so there is a creepy, and I do mean creepy, new trend going around. At least I find it creepy.
I don't think it's creepy at all. Okay, I think that this is just Zoomers being Zoomers, doing what they do best. So TikTokers are, since they're home for the holidays and they're with their older relatives
and they
who
need
aren't
attention
on the internet as much, and they would like to, get clout off of the backs of their older relatives, they are faking celebrity deaths so they can get the reaction on video. And I think that this is hilarious because it exposes really a culture of celebrity idol worship that we are steeped in this country.
What it is it's the commodification of actual human emotion.
No.
Yes. Oh, totally.
Brett,
Okay,
these people aren't displaying real emotion. Their reactions are completely performative. That's the whole point.
We are only a step away from grandma just died. And videos. Yes.
Oh my gosh, you literally, that's totally different. If you're trying to get someone's reaction to their loved one that they know in real life.
Okay, Johnny Down. Okay. Oh, remember
versus some celebrity? Like some random celebrity?
Mike 2 Houses Down died.
That's not the same thing.
I don't know, dude.
Someone you know in real life dying versus a celebrity dying? Do you really think the reaction is the same?
No, I don't think the reaction is the same, but I think the idea here is it makes people feel something, and it reminds people that human emotions are real.
Firstly, their emotional reaction, even if you can say, it's impossible to know, but if it's real or not. Yeah. You should not be screaming and howling and crying when you find out that Zac Efron died. I'm sorry. That's not normal, and that's not valid.
Are there any
for you to feel that way about someone you don't know?
Are there any celebrities that you obviously I don't think any normal, well-adjusted person reacts this way when a celebrity dies. But is there any celebrity whose death you at least remember where you were when it happened?
No.
That's a common thing.
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, maybe before the internet, people felt some type of way about different celebrity deaths, but
I remember where I was when Heath Ledger died.
Okay, cool.
When I found out that Heath Ledger died.
I've heard that it impacted people, but did you literally start screaming and hyperventilating?
No, I got hit by another car who also heard that news.
Yes. Yeah.
I got hit I was in a car and got rear-ended by somebody who had just heard the same thing. So that's a very memorable story.
Okay, but it's not the same as what we're seeing in these videos, and just play them. And I want to react to these because I haven't seen a lot of them.
Also, I love,
in my opinion.
Also, I love the chat because whether it's IRL or here, there's at least one person in every video. There's at least one chat in every video where they say R.I.P. some celebrity that hasn't died.
Yeah, they love this trend. They do it to us all the time.
Yep. All right, here we go. We'll watch the one on here first.
Thank you.
Oh, Allison Janney dead at 63. No!
Who cares if Allison Janney died?
Oh my God! Who died?
Okay, another thing is like people are gonna start having heart attacks in response to these announcements because of something very safe and effective.
Oh my gosh. Erykah Badu pronounced dead.
They're literally the most random celebrities.
Yo, Kris Jenner dead at 67.
I'm sorry, like if you react like that, you are unhinged. Like
Austin Butler dies at 31. Shut up!
That has to be fake. Like, there's no way a lady that age cares who.
It's
Austin
TikTok.
Butler
Not
is.
all of it is real, but like some of these are real.
It's a joke.
If even half of these are real, I'm disturbed.
Wait, oh my God! What? Tom Cruise died at 60!
See, that would actually make me cry.
Would you really?
Mom, what? Oprah Winfrey dead at 68.
No!
No, I'm not even kidding.
Joke!
I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding.
She just posted on Instagram this morning. Are you joking? This is a joke. This is a joke.
Did you see the news? No. Lady Gaga dead at 36.
What?
I swear, car crash.
Lady Gaga?
Car crash.
That's like the most normal of all of them.
Yeah, that's the least worrying reaction
That's
I've seen so
the
far.
most normal of all.
But
of
like,
them.
I'm sorry, if you are literally screaming at the news that Kris Jenner died, I don't think that your emotions are valid. I don't think that they're genuine. I think they're performative.
Yeah.
And I think that you're a celebrity idol worshiper and you maybe deserve to get made fun of a little bit. Yes. Like the way that we regulate social contagion is by public shaming a little bit. Okay. Like that's not a problem. And I think that's what the internet was made for. And I think that the younger people who are perpetuating this trend are kind of doing a little bit of like remedy work on the culture that we've gotten into, where we just like literally bow before celebrity culture. It's not normal to feel that emotionally connected to somebody that you have never met or you don't know personally. It's not, it shouldn't be accepted. I don't think that it's wrong to mock that type of response. I think this is like a much needed and also lighthearted and fun way to point out how ridiculous celebrity worship has gotten.
I think that the people posting it for clout are just as bad. I take just as much issue as somebody making fun of their parents because their parents have a quirk that we disagree with, and doing it so that they can get likes on social media makes them just as big a twat as their parents are for thinking that it sucks that Austin Butler died. Also, I don't buy that lady knows who Austin Butler is.
No, because a lot of
that lady might have watched the Elvis movie.
Yeah, a lot of these middle-aged ladies have watched Elvis and think that he's very smoking.
They are clout chasers, and I take just as much issue with that. Like, are people that worship celebrities weird? Yeah, but we see that every day. Like half our job is making fun of people who worship celebrities because we're always kind of flicking the nose of celebrities with what we do. Like, I think the people that post weird tweets about celebrities are freaking weird. The ones who are like, the ones who know every detail about some celebrity that they worship and post long threads about them. It's freaking weird, dude. But do your thing. It's not my business what you're doing. But doing this and doing it in a way that shames them, so that they're not doing it because they think they're changing the culture. If anything, they're doing it for worse reasons. They're coarsening.
No, I don't think that all Zoomers are in a collective group chat where they centrally plan how to shift the culture. But there's such a thing called meme magic, and it is used with like a collective unconscious to shift the culture. And yeah, like mocking people and shaming people is a very effective social tool that weeds out maladaptive behaviors. And one of those maladaptive behaviors is worshiping Oprah Winfrey or Andy Cohen or Anderson Cooper or Kathy Griffin or Rachel Maddow or Sarah Silverman or any of these people. Like Yes, like that is a social contagion that needs to be rooted out, and the best way to do it is by making jokes at the expense of the people who are perpetuating this problem.
Okay, here in the chat, Shannon says, death is closer to old people and they don't need the reminder with fake death pranks. Does that, like, if they were, like, I wonder if I would have taken this differently if this was kids doing it to kids. It would almost feel like they accomplished something. If you trick, like, somebody your age, sure. Is it really that big of an accomplishment to pull one over on your boomer parents? I don't think so.
Wait, what do you mean an accomplishment?
I'm saying because
there's nothing like
they're doing it for the reaction, right? But like, if you get like a kid to react, I can almost see like that reaction feeling more genuine to me because like with the parents, not more genuine. I feel like there's more substance to the kid's reaction than the parents because look, they're old people. They're old people. Like it just feels exploitative in a weird way to me.
The thing is that they're showing the reactions of people who they became familiar with Hollywood in a time when Hollywood had a lot more prestige.
Yeah.
And
I guess I might also, I would assume that they asked their parents permission to post it, and the parents were like, sure, you can post this thing that makes me
maybe
look
they
like
did, maybe they didn't, who knows. But like these baby boomers and, you know, some Gen Xers shown in these videos became fond of certain celebrities at a time when Hollywood had a lot more actual prestige. And we were just talking about in the context of like the shaming of nepotism babies, that the actual value of, you know, being a Hollywood player right now has completely plummeted. Yeah. And now you really aren't expected so much to fit certain standards. You just have to have TikTok followers to get in the club. It's not what it used to be. And you just told me that you saw this article that said Hollywood has lost $500 billion of market value in the last year. That's like a real, you know, numerical proof that Hollywood ain't what it used to be, and this older generation isn't used to that.
This will also not happen in the future because none of the celebrities that are becoming famous now will have the same staying power. No one's going to care in 20 years what happened to Amaranth.
Of course. I mean, nobody cares what happened to Amaranth right now.
I mean, no disrespect. I'm actually not trying to be disrespectful to her. I'm saying the culture around celebrity is different because there's so much content out there that before, when your content was curated by four regular news stations or four regular channels and a couple of cable stations, you were told who the celebrities were. Now pick your choice. There's a celebrity for everything, right? Mm-hmm. It would be funnier to me if it was like celebrity chefs. Like Emerald just died, and then like some guy who just loved Emerald. Like that would be more interesting to me. Emerald. Remember, bam. Kick it up a notch. It's just, I don't know. I get it. I'm the boomer. I just like, first of all, I don't like videos where you record people without their knowledge. That's despicable to me. Even if they're doing something stupid, like videos of people being stupid, doing stupid stuff at the gym. I want to smack the person recording that video. People recording people doing something stupid, either in the privacy of their own home or just because they're out in public and don't realize they're doing something stupid. I want to slap each and every one of the people that record those videos. I don't like it.
It's a little bit different when it's a complete stranger versus your mom. So I don't totally agree in all circumstances. It's not like I think that all of the TikTokers posting these videos are good intentioned.
No,
at all. Like,
as
I'm
long
not
as we can agree that they're not out to change the culture for the better.
I just think that this is hilarious and unintentionally exposing hysteria around celebrities that should be stamped out. Like these people are actually, you know, some of the worst of the worst in our society.
Well, these old people blissfully don't know that.
They're narcissistic,
disconnected,
evil,
from the fact.
Self-involved, and essentially like very bored people who make a living off of, you know, making headlines about their opinions on political issues and bludgeoning ordinary people with their need for validation and attention.
That's
and if you worship them knowingly or not, I think that behavior needs to be mocked. And if we're going to...
It just feels ghoulish to me. The whole
if
thing
we're gonna redirect that attention to people who are worthy of it, then I think this is like some kind of start. And I wanted to react to the one that I found on Twitter because that had a lot of better ones.
All right.
I just really love this trend, guys. I think it's hilarious, and I won't apologize.
Cher dead at 81.
No.
My Cher? Oh my God.
It's a nice
Howard Stern dead at 68.
What?
See, I'd be like, hey,
I would have been
at
more
least no more headlines about Howard Stern.
I'd have been more interested in that piece of pizza that guy was eating. That piece of pizza looked great. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Zac Efron dead at 35.
Mom,
What?
Oprah Winfrey dead at 68.
No!
Oh my God, Neil Cavuto dead
Who the hell? I don't know who that
I don't
is.
even know.
Chat, who the hell is Neil Cavuto?
Oh my God. Did you see John Travolta passed away?
No, don't say that to me. No.
It's gotta be fake. That one's
Oh
gotta
my
be
God.
fake.
Bon Jovi dead at 60.
Alexa, did Bon Jovi?
She was
Got
like
him.
fact checked.
Dead at 41.
Who's Pitbull?
Pitbull!
There is a great meme of like it's supposed to be the guy whoever goes it's the lightning fast guy who goes to everyone's Wikipedia page the second they die
and
it
changes
immediately
it to
changes
was.
does all of the was and is and then and adds the dates in there like
What a legend.
He died?
At 41. No fucking way.
Hey, go.
Keith Morrison dead at 75.
No!
Okay, that's fake.
Oh my God,
That's
Ma.
fake.
Manny Pacquiao dead at 54.
Shit.
Hugh Grant dead at 62. Oh my God.
What?
John Bon Jovi dead at 60.
Fuck. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, please.
I guess this trend kind of works too because they can look like they're looking at their phone but really they're filming
Yeah.
you. Ugh.
Michael Jackson dead at 50.
What?
Oh my gosh.
The guy
No.
who's been dead for a decade, who's literally been dead for a decade.
More than that now.
Yeah. He died in what, 09?
In 08.
08?
Yeah, I think so.
In the chat, somebody says, I lose 10% respect. You must respect the freedom to record in public. I just said I don't want people recording other people without their knowledge because you want to embarrass them
Well,
online.
it's a difference of whether it's like legal or ethical.
I'm not talking about whether it's legal.
Yeah.
I'm talking about whether it's ethical because you think somebody's doing something stupid and then you want to dunk on them online. I think that's lowbrow. That's just me.
Yeah.
Some of those were more believable than
Yeah,
the
some
other
of them were
ones.
definitely
Yeah.
faked like everything is on TikTok, but I know like some people really react like that because they just like form their identities around the celebrities that they like.
Yeah.
And,
and that's embarrassing for them, but let them
Yeah.
be embarrassed for themselves. Okay. Let them I'm also of the belief that like, look, that's your thing. Like, I'm not going to judge you for it. Do I think it's stupid? Sure.
No, it's just like when we make fun of Kevin Smith for crying in the movie theater every time that he sees a new Marvel movie.
His is also heavily monetized and full of shit.
Yeah, like that is performative emotion. It's not real, and I'm gonna dunk on you for it. I don't care. Like you don't actually genuinely feel like that.
I just it's just a weird culture that we live in now where, yes, is the celebrity part of it stupid? But I don't think that it's a long way off from assuming that we've just turned how we react to things that we find shocking into a commodity that can be sold for likes and clicks. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
I guess you're just a better person than me.
Look, I'm not passing judgment on anyone for liking it. I'm saying that the people choosing to do it, somebody had to start this, so that it was like it's a sign of where the culture is going, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I guess so.
For better or for worse.
Let's go to Super Chats.
Let's do it. There's got a couple there.
James O'Rourke said, didn't expect any of the Timcast media shows back till after the new year. Glad you're back.
Well, you know,
we're ahead of time.
We like to work hard here. We're hard workers here. And to be completely honest, guys, I had a hard time being off work for like too long.
You're a busybody.
Like no, not just that, but also like I'm a guilty like we took an extra day off yesterday because I had actual stuff to do and like felt guilt, like did more stuff because like I was like I can't feel like I have an extra day off if I can't justify it. Yep.
Rolando A. Ramirez said, I always tell my sister some celeb passes to mess with her. And with our farm animals, I tell her they pass. Don't judge me.
That's mean. Like,
the animals is a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Think about this.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I want you to think about that and think about it this way. So I just got messages earlier about Bokus. How is Bokus doing? How would you feel if someone recorded your reaction if Bokus had passed? Bokus is, by the way, guys, Bokus is alive. Bokus is trotting around the house. He likes to hang out under the Christmas tree. He's been in good spirits lately. He's still very limber. Gets up on all the countertops and everything. How would you feel if somebody's like, oh my God, Bokus passed away, and then recorded it? I think that's awful.
Brett, that would be awful because people here love Bokus.
But they don't.
You don't love Zac Efron. You don't know him. You've never looked at him in person.
Yeah,
it's not a.
They
that's
know
not
both,
real.
but somebody else like it like okay.
Even if you think you do, it's your fault for even thinking you do.
We will, just everyone died and then just record it. Just like the whole world died. And then World War III just started. No. Oh my God. Yeah.
Wayward Soul said 8th grade when Selena was killed was bananas.
Bananas. Did you ever see the Selena movie?
No, I did not.
No.
Philip Allen McCracken said, Brett, here's rear-ended. The both of you get out of their cars. Other guy, Heath Ledger died. Brett, HeathLedger died. Yep. No one was found at fault.
Basically, well, there's no damage to the car either. Also, by the way,
whose insurance paid whom?
There was no. We just went. There was no damage to the car, so we called it even. I'm getting semi eviscerated in the chat.
Really?
They agree with you, not with me. That's fine. To each their own.
Ben De Jesus said, "Deaths. I actually shedded a tear for Michael Jackson, Robin Williams, and DMX."
See, and I think the DMX one's really interesting because we have since lost the veil of what celebrity actually means, right? So there are still celebrities that mean a lot to a lot of people. And even though you also have to remember that just because we know that celebrities are awful doesn't mean that everyone does. And I don't fault them for not knowing that. These people have kids. They got families. They got stuff going on. They love Oprah Winfrey.
Look, just not knowing that they might be a bad person isn't what I'm talking about. It's like having a parasocial connection to them that isn't warranted even if you assume that they're a living saint. That's not normal. Matt
also says, this is my new favorite, says Brett is basically Hitler. That is
I wasn't aware of this.
That is me.
I'm devastated.
Basically, yes.
Matt said, remember when Trump wanted TikTok banned? Too bad.
That's coming back now too. There's a lot more discussion. It's banned in India now, right? And
I don't know.
I believe it's banned in India. And there's been a lot more discussion lately about how we need to, get rid of TikTok.
But that's more about like India's relationship with China than anything.
Yep.
Yesh said, I nominate Brett for Employee of the Year.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. That makes up for the fact that the chat given me I take the L today.
Yeah.
I take the L today. Oh, we got one more there.
Oh, I didn't see it.
It just came up from Bobcat.
He said, Mr. Bokus has had a bigger impact on societal good than any actor.
That is probably
so true.
Absolutely true. My phone would agree with you, considering my phone is pretty much all pictures of Bokus.
Verifiable fact. Let's move on and talk about something scary. Pokimane, the Twitch streamer, is trying to put internet trolls in jail.
Jail?
Yeah. If you've ever called Pokimane mid, if you've ever criticized her for any reason, you could be put in jail very soon on her new legislative plan that she's going to present, I assume, to, legislators in Congress.
Maybe she can hire Milo as a political.
Yeah. This is a whole, she apparently has a written out 10-point plan for, how to legally punish people for derogatory things that they say about her on the internet, because it's gone too far.
The first thing you should always be wary about anyone that sets out to punish anyone vaguely. Like, be very wary of someone who's like, I've got a plan to punish people. Like,
it's kind of weird to say it out loud as well.
You should think twice. Like, if you've got a friend who's like, I got a way I want to punish people, you should maybe ask questions.
Well, it's funny because Twitch streamers ordinarily use the apparatus of using Twitch employees to do their bidding, rather than going to the extent of the law. Let's just watch this video from what Pokimane said on her stream the other day.
Okay. Shall we make sure the volume's good? We're good.
I would like to facilitate the creation of legislation.
She's like, that's the word, right? Legislation.
That holds people accountable for the actions that they do online.
What actions do you do online?
I would love her to elaborate on this.
I don't know if I should get into the details because it might rattle some folks, but yes.
She's been texting with AOC.
But yes. I think there are some companies that I'm going to message, or not companies, organizations.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to, capitalism bad. Go
not
to the
companies,
NGOs.
but yeah,
NGOs.
the ADL maybe.
Yep.
Involved with certain causes, and I'll be like, listen, if you ever need someone to, I'm your girl. Because I think if you want to pass a bill, you usually go in front of a group of politicians and you explain your cause. Oh my gosh. I'll do it.
She'll do it.
Like, you literally don't know how this works, do you?
Do you remember there was the video who was it, chat? Who was it that went in front of like the UN or like or the ADL or who was it, Sarkeesian or was it Zoe Quinn that went in front of the government to talk about bullying in video games? I'm getting strong vibes. Like, Gamergate is back, guys.
Yeah.
They never let it go. It never goes away. It will live. It will be omnipresent forever.
I will always stand by that tweet from, was it Tyler the Creator?
Yeah.
That was like,
he's like,
what is cyberbullying? Just close your laptop, just walk away from the screen, turn off your computer. It's not that hard.
And I even take a little bit more of a middle stance on that, because like, look, if you're in school and you're surrounded by the same people every day, you can absolutely
it's a lot different
as
for
an
literal
adult
children than a fully grown adult woman
grow up
who is a media personality that makes millions of dollars per month off of just like sitting there mostly in silence getting donos. Like, I don't sympathize with you when, I mean, they say like, you know, they get bombarded on their streams with hate viewers and trolls in their chats and whatever. But like, that is just par for the course if you are a public figure on the internet. And more or less, like, that's the drawback to your line of work.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
she's
you have
very
to accept
fortunate to have her line of work, actually.
It's funny too, because like, one of the hardest things about doing this job for me is I don't like public speaking. I don't like putting my opinions before an audience to be judged, as we just found out, as I just took the L on the last topic, and people have obviously here very respectfully. People are, for the most part, I'm assuming in the chat, being respectful, and they disagree with me, but they're not trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But it's like, that doesn't mean I like doing it. That doesn't mean like I have strong opinions, but I don't feel strongly enough about most of myself to feel like I have anything special to say. But I love my job. I want to share my opinions with people, but at the same time I don't. It's a very weird dynamic. But that does not mean you have a right to tell other people that they don't have a right to their opinions. You chose this line of work. I chose this line of work. So if people are going to leave comments for me that say negative things, that's part of the job.
Even we have a situation that is unique from Pokimane's, because what she does on stream is she interacts with the chat, and like, from my understanding, like, streams playing video games. And she doesn't have to say her opinions on serious issues most of the time. So she's not opened up to any real scrutiny, except if it's about her appearance.
Yeah.
And
And they hate
obviously
that.
that's like completely superficial and easy to ignore. Really, like, you don't have to feed into it by showing them that it upsets you. I
And
think
don't
that's the main thing. If it upsets you, that's one thing. But if you respond to it by saying that you want to legislate to get them in legal trouble just for like calling you a 3 out of 10, or like saying that you don't look good without makeup on, or, you know, commenting on how your body looks or whatever, like, that is absolutely insane.
Be
and I
wary.
think proof that a lot of women on the internet are very fascistic,
very authoritarian,
very
and
authoritarian, and would like to, you know, have just absolute authority on who gets to speak. And of course, it never is applied to them.
I mean, we kind of learned this through COVID, right? How many people love the idea of controlling other people?
Yeah,
Like,
especially
they
women.
love let's
Because
say-
like we've like misplaced our role for
Maternal.
overbearing mothers.
Yes.
But
there are no helicopter moms anymore. There's just helicopter hoes on the internet being mean to everyone.
Well, they're Karens. Like, one person said, this video is literally an audition to be an internet Karen.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, yeah, you literally want to speak to the manager or be the manager. You want to instrumentalize all of the internet hall monitors more than you already have. Imagine being on the mod team for Pokimane's Twitch channel. Like, I think that is proof that there are like some very mentally unwell people on the internet who want to silence speech that is not even illegal, not even threatening, but just kind of rude.
Well, that's how we've gotten to this point, right? Where whenever somebody says hate speech, say, okay, how do you define that? Speech you hate, speech you don't like, speech that's mean. That's the whole point.
Officer, how could it be hate speech if I loved saying it?
The whole point of this is like, is that you have to put up with this. Like, it's one of the things that I laugh because the YA world has gotten really, really bad about like nobody can, like, everyone's awful to each other. And most people in the comic industry or in these industries, they don't know how to take criticism. Right. And it's a lot harder now because back in the day, people wrote your publisher letters and criticized your work. Right. Now you're subjected to that criticism all the time. If you choose this work, that's your cross to bear.
I think that this is incredibly ironic coming from a Twitch streamer because as we know, some of the most popular like homepage mainstream content on Twitch is overtly sexual content.
Yeah.
That under 18 users are able to click on and watch instantly, unsupervised, and that is perfectly allowed. People have been calling for Twitch staff to intervene in this problem for so long, and there's been so little action taken. Like, there are literally Twitch thoughts licking microphones shaped like ears. As like sexual ASMR.
Guys,
and that's just mainstream content on Twitch, but you're telling me people can't call you mid in your live chat? Like, just like shut up.
Yep, that was
I'm sorry. Like, that's internet Gestapo.
Yep.
Like, someone said women get called mid online and want to create an internet Gestapo where like you're snitching on other people on the internet if
love the
they say
idea
something, a take that's not allowed.
That maybe this is like is this a problem that's unique to women? Because women are so are now so used to being lavished with praise constantly. And they're constantly told they're beautiful. They're given compliments online endlessly, where like now not only do they get to control that, but they get to control when and how. So now, like, I was watching a bunch of I went down the rabbit hole of polite catcalling this weekend. It's like my new favorite thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, damn girl, you look like you have your Wi-Fi password memorized. And it's just you say really nice things to girls and a girl does it to guys like with the megaphone. But it's like women get to control, like, get so much attention that now they not just get to get so much attention, they get to control what attention they get, when they get it, and anything less is a crime.
It's the attention economy.
Yes.
The women who are getting 80% of the attention want to control the 20% that are giving it to them. Does that translate?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They
way
want the whole 80%.
overreaching for someone who gets most of their income based on their appearance. Okay, like I don't think strippers get this level of control over the attention that they receive in strip clubs.
But also, like, strippers and people who work in porn accept that they're going to get.
It's kind of creepy. Thank you, guys.
That will go up until New Year's, guys. Like. They understand that by working that profession, they're going to get that kind of negative attention. So they just accept it, right? They want the middle ground. They want to be adult entertainment adjacent, or at least they want to sexually appeal or use this sexual marketplace as a tool to make money without any of the attention that runs contrary to anything but positive. And that's a weirdly utopian view of the world that doesn't actually deal in human behavior, because that's not how the world works. But it is hilarious to me, because you just can't I can't imagine a world where I get to control everything that comes into me, that comes into my life. And what I can control, I take responsibility for, right? Like, I don't read the comments. I don't read, like, I interact with people who send me messages, good and bad, like as much as I can. But it's like, I don't expect people to have nothing but positive things to say about me. And that, nor does that invalidate anything that somebody says negative. If somebody leaves us a comment and says, this show sucks, does that mean that person doesn't have a right to their opinion? No. They absolutely have their right to that opinion. If somebody says, Brett, like, I remember my favorite comment was like, it was like, made fun of my glasses being crooked and how I can't read. And I'm like, okay, like, am I supposed to be like, I can, hurt the ego a little bit, but is it going to ruin my day to the point where I'm going to tell that dude that he needs to have his speech legislated by some corrupt government official and weird, like, I guess it would be the FBI?
Someone said I need to check my social credit score. This is what I think Twitch, like female Twitch streamers would implement if given the chance. That's why they should be nowhere near a legislative body of any kind. They would literally throw people in jail for calling them mid or like insulting their looks, because I think what they're not willing to admit is that a lot of their income is based on their looks. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, that's the name of the game of, like, being a TV show host and being an actress, being a model. Being a Twitch streamer is not super different, and you can't tell me that, when Amaranth wears skimpy outfits on Twitch and gets up and walks around through the room she's in to show the full view of her body, that it is not the focal point of the stream. Yeah. And also, like, a lot of the reason that her recent, like, scandal with her, I guess now ex-husband got so much attention, right? Yeah. Like, that's how the attention economy works, like it or not.
Maybe to me, part of it is also, like, there's a perspective issue here. For me, I love this work, despite the drawbacks of not being the most, like, social person or not liking the idea of always having my opinions judged. I love the work, and I feel blessed to do the job. And I think I try to make it a point regularly to let the chat know and the people watching, like, look, I'm honored that you take time out of your day, good or bad, to watch these videos, leave comments on these videos. If you subscribe to the channel, I feel honored that you take the time to give us a part of your day and listen to us. I don't know if there's any level of gratitude there. I think there's a lot taken for granted.
There's a lot of contempt coming from creators to their own audiences.
I don't like that.
It's spanning across social media influencers all the way to the showrunners for TV shows that hate the fan base. Yeah. It's like this. It's a contagion that's just everywhere at this point, and I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's just a sense of entitlement that you deserve the position of influence you've gotten for some reason.
I think part of it is that there's no, like, it's too big to fail. Like, all these companies are too big to fail now, right? Like,
is Pokimane too big to fail?
With them, that's even worse, right? Like, when a mainstream celebrity hates the audience, I think it's abhorrent and I think it's stupid. But I get that there's there's a certain amount of disconnection from the average person there. But somebody who makes their money on like a show like this, we Our job is to entertain people, and people super chat. Our job is to entertain people. Hopefully they watch, and there's ad revenue, right? We are a lot closer to the audience than somebody who just gets their check from Netflix, right? And connects that way. I feel like we talk to the audience on a daily basis. Like for them, it's very disconnected from it. So I think they're stupid, and I think that they're self-centered, but it makes more sense for a mainstream celebrity to be stupid and self-centered and in contempt of their audience. It doesn't make sense for somebody who has such a close relationship with the people that they interact with, with their fans, to have so much contempt for the people that watch them.
For Pokimane, she has like this army of moderators in her chat who I presume are just silencing any dissent to any of her opinions or any criticism of her looks, any aspect of her personality, superficial or not. Like, you're not allowed to speak ill of this person. And she doesn't want it to just be in her own chat. That's the problem. Like, your chat, it's your rules, I suppose. But she wants to legislate anything you say about her on any corner of the internet. And it's just not only impossible to enforce, but if you try, then you end up getting more people hating you than you otherwise would have. You're drawing more attention to yourself, and you're also letting them win. That's what trolling is, essentially. If you let them know that it bothers you, that's letting them win, and that's exactly what she's doing. I would love to know.
That's why I never respond when people say negative things about me. I like in the chat, it's different. Like we're doing the show like right now, but if somebody leaves a message for me, like a really nasty message or comment on social media, I just don't respond. You're giving them what they want.
Someone in the chat said, someone said that Pokimane was aging, and that's why she said that. I think that might be true, because I saw this tweet from Jet Neptune that said, I tweeted "you're aging" at Pokimane, and days later she's saying she would have laws that criminalize trolling.
I mean, she could be saying that about any comment. I'm sure she gets comments every day.
He seems to think that it was his comment that triggered this reaction. So I don't know, but yeah, like I think that just means that you need to get you need to like form meaning and identity around something other than like how you're perceived online. Some people are saying that this is like why the internet was a mistake. Other people are saying that allowing women was on the internet was a mistake. But like maybe it just needs to be like gender segregated if it were to work at all, and that's impossible to do.
I don't think that any human being was designed to get as much attention as you are now able to get online, and I don't think it's healthy in most respects. I don't.
If you think about how intoxicating male attention is to females, it is actually a miracle that all of them are not going the route of Pokimane. That is
did you see
quite like a wonder.
Did you see the Melanie Mack thing about her? Like, she's got a
stalker?
Like
she tweeted about this situation where a guy drove 15 hours to her location thinking that she was his future wife, and he made videos about that.
Dude, I do not envy being an attractive woman on the internet.
It's pretty scary, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't think that giving more attention to it is the right way to go. Like I just don't think it's a smart decision.
Well, hopefully she stays safe, but that is a scary situation.
Whether it's somebody who is actually a physical danger to you or somebody who is just trying to make fun of you on the internet in a harmless way, don't put a spotlight on it. That's a bad idea. This is like internet culture 101. I don't know why someone who's been on the internet as long as Pokimane has would be uninitiated, but
I mean, also a part of it,
common sense.
It's also just smart business sense. Like if you really think about it, any news like for her, any news like this is still good publicity for her. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
We have fallen into the trap, and I fully admit that. So it is what it is. We got a couple super chats there.
Yes. Biddy Beastly said, I surprised myself when I shed a tear for Chester Bennington when I didn't for Robin Williams.
That was a big one. Okay, here's another one. Here's another reason why I think that this is relevant. Look, when Jason David Frank died, right? The Green Ranger, is it John David Frank or Jason David Frank? I was shocked. Like, given how much that the Green Ranger and his transition into the White Ranger in Power Rangers meant to me as a child. Power Rangers is still a huge thing all over the world. And I was astounded by just how many people were affected by his death. The same with Twitch, the DJ who died. Like, a lot of people cared about these people. So look, I understand that we worry about like about becoming overly identified with celebrities, but I have compassion and understand that, especially with music and art. Oprah, I don't get it. Okay. But if it's an actor from a movie you like, who made movies you loved, that played a part in your life. If it's a musician, music has a huge connection with people emotionally. So losing someone that helped create something that emotionally resonated with you, is it a little bit concerning? Yes, but we live in a culture where we are influenced by these people. So I don't think it's out of the norm too far to be affected by someone who created music you loved. If you look at somebody like a Chester Bennington, it wasn't my genre, but if you grew up loving Linkin Park and suddenly the lead singer of Linkin Park dies, or you grew up listening to Michael Jackson and suddenly this artist who sang to you when you were happy or sad or going through breakups, that is a parasocial relationship, but it doesn't mean it's invalid, I guess.
There's a difference between having a connection to music and the person who made it.
But the thing, the idea here is that they won't make that music anymore. You won't be able to hear new songs from this person. You won't
That's sad, but are you going to start writhing on the floor and hyperventilating and having a heart attack about it?
And a lot of those reactions were ridiculous.
That's performative.
Yes. From having a camera.
I'm willing to point that out. Rolando A. Ramirez said Pokey was talking about revenge corn and nudes from past relationship. Just to clarify, it's still stupid. That's not what she said in the video, though. She was not that clear. So if she said that later in the stream, I didn't know.
But also, that's still that's nothing to do with how does that have to do with regulating trolls online?
That stuff is already illegal.
Yeah.
What, the revenge corn or whatever, that's already a crime. You don't need to legislate further on it. You just need to make a police report, right? Mark Rice said, better public speaker than Obama, no cap, for real, for real. I don't know who you're talking. Are you talking about Pokimane?
I might have been talking about Pokimane. Certainly wasn't talking about me.
Those meaningful pauses. It is shocking to me how much of the streams on Twitch are just long. Silence. And for half of it, it's 8-hour streams where half of it is just sitting there.
That takes a certain level of comfort to be able to just sit there. Me and you can sit up here and work in dead silence. I don't know if streaming in dead silence would work for me.
It feels awkward.
If anything, I speak too much because I want to fill the awkward pauses.
Matt said, problem, trolls in chat. Solution, hire more mods.
There you go.
Well, she doesn't just want to get rid of the trolls in chat, but she wants to get rid of the trolls on Twitter who are talking about her without her there to control it.
Yeah.
Johnny Beck sent us a thumbs up.
Thank you, Johnny.
Mark Rice said, marry your dictator of the U.S. What are you doing and who are you punishing? I was just thinking about this morning, actually.
Who would you punish? Mary Guevara.
Maybe I'm not allowed to say things like this on YouTube.
Okay. Well, I don't want to know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I'll just say Balenciaga. There are solutions to certain problems.
Can't say that.
Yeah, I can't say things on YouTube. Matt's S-Box Emporium said, Tim's on vacation, crowd's gone, so once again, I'm back in the peanut gallery. It is what it is.
Well, thank you for coming back.
That is all.
We are very happy to have you back, and like I said, I'm happy to, they know what you're talking about in the chat. Yeah, it's I couldn't have taken more days off. I would have gone stir crazy. Part of it is do you ever feel like you're almost trapped in a way? It's work to prepare the show. You got to get the show ready, do the show. I have to edit when we're done, put everything up, make sure everything's done. We had a couple weeks ago where I had thumbnails on the wrong day and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And it's I both want the work because I can't stand not having stuff to do. But at the same time, I get anxiety from having to do the work. So it's like you're kind of caught between like a very good rock and a hard place where I love my job, but it's like it's also like a lot of pressure.
You thrive under pressure, Brett.
I don't though. I don't like as seen by my like messing up thumbnails and spelling errors.
Oh, well, that's just me distracting you or Dane distracting you.
It's what we do best here.
Yeah. Oh, another idea for when I'm dictator: abolish the public school system. Get rid of it.
So what would your solution be?
The solution?
Yeah.
It would just be all privatized.
Well, hey.
Or homeschooled.
You're never gonna hear me argue against that free market. You go.
Or if I'm the dictator, then the public schools will just teach whatever I want them to teach.
Which would be what? Not math.
Which would be it wouldn't. It would be math. What do you mean?
What level math would you go
There'd
through?
be math.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. It's just get the social studies out of there, and all of the revised histories. Get those out of there,
and bring back civics so people have a strong.
Bring back home ec, maybe. Yep. Get those religious studies in there. Catholicism all the way. No, not Catholicism. Maybe that's not true to American history, but Christianity at the very least.
I think at the very least bring back civics so people like that was a very smart thing for them to do, is to get rid of civics so people have, so that you have Pokimane saying, how do you get like, what do you do to get like, you got to go in front of politicians?
You like go in front of like people and present, right?
Yeah.
That's like
moving
what
picture.
you do. To pass a law.
Shannon says how to return shopping carts. Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
There would be no such classes.
No such class. In fact, shopping carts would be banned. Baskets only. The little shopping basket?
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby, I'm not reading that. Sorry. Carnell said, Brett and Mary, looking back on this year, even though much of it has been memory hold, would you mind sharing your top 3 most memorable moments of PCC? Inquiring minds want to know.
Can you come up with 3?
I mean, obviously the 200th episode was one crazy day. Yep. And then the subsequent bleaching of Brett's hair. That was really fun. A fun time all around.
I think just when you joined the show and getting the show off the ground from there and launching live, I think going live was
the first day we did a live show was really fun.
Lydia was here to make sure that I didn't screw everything up too badly.
Yeah, like that was fun. And just like, my first week here was also really fun.
It's been like this is what
also like so many months have blended together that I'm not good at remembering specifics.
Oh, I mean, half the time when we're done with the show for the day,
I don't even remember what we talked about.
People will send me a message about one of the topics, and I'm like, "Holy crap! Did we talk about that today?" Like it's like
Akon said what?
I was trying to explain. Yeah, I was trying to explain to someone. I was like, "Look, the idea that I, like me, who is objectively not that smart and is kind of a dummy, to have like 5 nuanced takes on 5 separate things every day, while not sounding like a complete buffoon." And trying to not, and try to get the show done in a reasonable format. That's actually like a pretty good amount to ask, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge every day. So
not a lot of people do that. Talk this much. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, you are my co-pilot. Mary stabbing a potato on stream while grinning at the camera. Oh, the horror. So many bad nightmares. Don't scream in the attic.
Yeah,
is that what your nightmare was?
That was what I think that's what he was talking about with the nightmare was.
I can recreate it
on the show.
Yeah,
we can flicker the lights.
If we get like a certain number of crisis parties or something,
we can work on
flicker
that.
the lights, make it a whole experience. Replay your horrors.
All right, we are moving on. Guys, I got a couple of things at the end here. There's like, we're going to drive by most of these. Everyone remembers what was happening with The Witcher. Well, The Witcher Blood Origin has united the internet. Everybody hates it. Literally everyone hates it. The critics hate it. The fans hate it. Your mom hates it. Your dad hates it. Your brother hates it. Your dog hates it. Everyone hates it.
I just want to say, like, starting a prequel series while the original series is still going is insane behavior.
So
like
Hollywood
worrying,
now.
Mentally ill behavior. Just stop.
But that's not even necessarily true. I mean, they launched 2 spin-offs of The Walking Dead while The Walking Dead was still on.
I mean, everyone agreed that Walking Dead should have ended way
Way
sooner
earlier.
than it did.
So
I don't even know if it's over yet.
So no,
I stopped
it is
paying
now.
attention.
So guys, this is what I want to point out. Somebody pointed this out to me. This is what I want to talk about when I say that the media, like, you think propaganda. If you think propaganda is limited only to Twitter, like to celebrities and Twitter and people talking about politics, oh, no. See, culture war is a thing for a reason, and they influence culture by influencing your opinions on things that you think are trivial, like The Witcher or Netflix, things like this. So this was an article from so this is from Screen Rant. So Screen Rant says, The Witcher Blood Origin review bombed by Henry Cavill and novel fans. Why do I say that this is propaganda? Because if you go now to CBR, The Witcher Blood Origin is getting review bombed by novel and Henry Cavill fans. They just switched the order around because these aren't actual people with opinions.
They're a hive mind media apparatus.
Yes, it's both of these companies, both Screen Rant and CBR, are owned by a company called Valnet, which also owns like Movie Web, all of the talking head websites that publish. Look, it was a smart
and it's
thing
owned
to
by
do.
what did you say? Some Saudi prince?
It's like a billionaire dude, I think, if I remember correctly. But like
media is not real, folks.
No, it is not. And the point here is this. When you read these articles, my question was like, oh, look, journalists support journalists. Like, oh my God, look at the toxic incels. They support each other fine. Those are your homies. You support each other. The fans and the people who love, whether it's source material or people who just want celebrities to start treating the people that pay their bills with like a modicum of respect. They support other people that support these franchises that were amazing before Hollywood got a hold of them, right? They support each other. Who the hell supports CBR and Screen Rant? Like, who are the normies? Like, they have to be normies, right?
Those are like examples of why I feel like we live in a simulation. That media outlets like this exist.
Well, it was very smart. One day, these companies decided to buy up these I don't want to call them rags. Like, they weren't always like that. A lot of these websites did fairly good work back in the day. But the idea here is like, look, why wouldn't you just buy it up and create a propaganda arm for your media empire? Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense, especially if you have the capital to do that. So,
and then Blood Origin's creators have an interest in influencing the media to make the narrative that they got review bombed, which is always the narrative when reviews don't do well.
Yep. It's the go-to excuse.
Yeah, or the audience, they blame the audience because they don't like this diverse casting. But I even saw in one of the reviews, they said that it seems like some corporate department for, DEI appeared to have set quotas for the characters to ensure that the cast is politically correct, following, the trends, making sure that they're this, quote, bland hodgepodge of identityless nothing, which nobody can be offended by.
And I do believe that this is like the reason we see so much of it now. You see less of this in other genres. Okay. This is about fantasy, sci-fi, and this realm, which is considered particularly important to culture war, right? Whether it's Star Trek Discovery, whether it's The Witcher, whether it's what they did to the Rings of Power, there is a certain focus on quotas and a weird amount of quota matching for these genres. But if you watch The Terminalist, you don't feel that way when you watch it. It looks cast like a movie would have been cast 10 years ago. It's really funny. I've been what was I rewatching recently? There are so many shows that were I realized that the reason that people love the Fast and the Furious movies, aside from all that, it's a naturally diverse cast. Naturally, you don't look at Tyrese and Ludacris and Paul Walker and Vin Diesel and all of these people and think somebody picked these people out of a chart and said, we need to put this on the screen. So it can be done.
These days, people who are completely unremarkable get chosen just for their traits, for their immutable traits. And in the past, it just wasn't that self-aware, that like fatal self-awareness of, reaching these quotas. And
there's so much that
I don't even believe it in the original Witcher series, which I'm still like working through the first season of that. I'm most of the way through. Like that, just simply because it's so heavily based on, like, I guess medieval or close to Renaissance period Europe. The fact that they made it just as diverse as like any random shopping mall that you go to,
it's anti-reality
on the East Coast, like that just doesn't feel very real. It doesn't feel organic or immersive to me.
And that's like
I'm not racist for saying so.
No,
like I'm sorry, like that. I'm tired of the narrative that just pointing out or noticing that they're doing this is the real crime. Like it's them who are forcing it on everybody else.
Yep.
And again, like I still think it's insane to start a prequel series for a series that's ongoing.
Netflix.
And then while you're replacing the protagonist actor?
Yeah.
Like,
they were always going to lose.
What is the through line?
They were always going to lose when this, like, maybe the idea
How is
here
this
is like,
recognizable as the original project anymore?
Netflix promotes The Witcher Blood Origin by virtue signaling, featuring the first kiss between two men in the show and a deaf character using sign language. Look, you could make the art. The funny thing is the character of Echo in Hawkeye actually worked. But even then, they still virtue signaled about it, right? Like because it was like, I made the joke. I was like, look, she's both deaf and she was missing a leg. I'm like, if you're telling me that this wasn't planned,
right,
you're lying. You're lying. Look, and the funny thing is, it worked. If they had never drawn attention to it, it would have been great. And then like somebody like me would have come along and been like, look at this. They didn't virtue signal. They just did this. Is it still clearly cut from the boardroom? Sure. Did Aliqua Cox do the best job ever? No, not really. But did she deserve her own spinoff? No, she did not. Like that does not make any sense.
What always happens with projects like this is that the critic score is way higher than the audience score. But even in this case, 35% from the critics.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And it's gone, I think it's gone up a little bit since
and 9
then.
with the audience?
Yeah, it's 10 now. In
10
30,
with the audience.
It's 30. Oh, no, it went down from critics.
Like,
it's 33 from the critics and 10% from the audience. Let's refresh and see what it says now. Yeah, 33% from the critics. It's like, this is very clearly something that we can all get behind. Everybody hates this and nobody wants to watch it.
And even if the diversity, equity, inclusion stuff wasn't part of the criticism, it's still a shit show. Yep. Like everyone who watches it is saying it's completely, lazy. Like it's written lazily by people who are riding on the coattails of the source material and the fan base they believe is built in. But then they're alienating that fan base.
I also laugh because then you see a show like Wednesday, which everyone seems to love, starring Jenna
I'm worried that they're going to ruin that.
Oh, well, they're already saying they're like, they got to give her she's got to be gay. Because everybody, it's like, remember how Tim always says politics only flows one direction? Culture only flows one direction. Gay. Like eventually you will that's who's it? Ralphie May as the skit where he's like, why do they take everything and make it gay? That's what they're doing. Like, it's like, you can't have her in a stable heterosexual relationship because you're not pushing back on societal norms and heteronormity. Heteronormativity, is that the word?
Heteronormativity?
Yeah, is that?
I think.
Heteronormative, so I guess it would be heteronormity. But whatever. The point is here is that they get their hands in it. And this is also what's funny about this is for shows like this, especially, they confuse the extremely loud and vocal supporters that just happen to be part of that community with mainstream appeal. Wednesday has mainstream appeal. 90% of what I see from Wednesday is the dance.
Right.
Everyone, there are literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who have made their own edits of it. There's an amazing
viral scene, and people are making TikToks imitating it.
Exactly.
To this song by Lady Gaga called Bloody Mary. And now that song has become one of Lady Gaga's #1 songs just because of the TikTok trend.
There's also this amazing one that I saw the other day where they take the Bully Maguire and they take all of Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 dancing, and they've inserted it in there, so he's dancing with her. It's funny. Freaking incredible. Like that's
if
stuff
you have
can't
meme
fake
potential and like viral potential, that's what makes a show.
Yeah, and you can't fake that. Like they're not they're not even trying to be like to appeal culturally. They're just trying to appear to match quotas and feel like that's going to carry them through that. It has to be about tax. Like somebody mentioned here, it was like it has to be about tax breaks. Whether this is about if we're talking about ESG scores, again, I don't know. I just know that it starts in the HR departments, right? And it starts in the HR departments and your casting departments. And the second that those got infiltrated, and it's funny too, because if I remember correctly, casting departments are mostly female. If I remember correctly, like I remember reading that statistic somewhere. And it's funny because like back in the day, casting is something like I would love that job. Like, you know how often I like to point out when celebrities look alike. Like I would love to be hired specifically just to cast brothers and sisters on TV shows. Like that would be like a freaking sweet job to be able to be like, who is somebody who looks like this person? And then you go and scour, and then you have to find like, do they have the acting pedigree? Do they have the talent? You know, what is their resume that says that they could take on this role? And then you have to weigh that with, do they have the resume that says that they could do this role? And how much do they look like that person? Think about how amazing that would be as a job, only to have it cheapened by check this box, check this box, check this box. Are they gay yet? Yes,
I
they're
even
gay.
felt like the original Witcher series is kind of guilty of that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like,
it's
now
not something that goes unnoticed. That's
people are so desensitized to it now. Like when they do it just a little bit, they're like, oh, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
Like-
at least
like-
I wasn't beaten over the head with it too much.
And for the most part, I don't complain too much about that. Like, as long as they don't talk about it, right? As long as I don't have to hear, as long as nobody in Middle Earth is saying the word diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm usually the rose-colored glasses person of the group that can get by most of it.
Even
the second
some
you
of
start with the
these-
buzzwords, we're gonna have words.
Some of these shows and movies also are making the big mistake of like showing internet literacy. Like there's a stifling amount of internet literacy in writers' rooms right now. And obviously if you're internet literate, that's something that you can never come back from. Like that's irrevocable. But do the courtesy of hiding that when you're writing TV shows or movies. Like people talked about that scene in Glass Onion where they're playing Among Us. Yeah. And they're referencing the pandemic quite a lot. And like, it's just like not timeless.
Buzzwords are
not
like
long lasting.
That's literally like, I was already on the fence and disliked most of the Batman because I felt like people loved it. I didn't like it that much, but the moment she used the white privilege line on a movie, I was already like, the whole movie dialogue wise before that was timeless. You couldn't have picked a generation it was written in. And then she says that line. I'm like,
yeah, even if it
why
was,
are they dressed like that then? Why, if she's using that word, which is very clearly a word from this time period, why are they dressed like that? Why does it go out of its way to be timeless and then use that word?
Yeah.
Pointless.
Even if it was included, if that line was included to show her hypocrisy, that still is like,
use a better word.
It's taking you out of the moment.
Yeah. It's people like think that I don't understand the subtext of what she's saying. It's not about that. It's about the actual word you chose. Yeah. So
it's just another day, another example of being gaslit by the corporate media and Hollywood.
And just remember that when you don't like something, it's gaslighting.
Yes.
When you don't like something, it's review bombing.
Right.
Always, right?
I mean, even if they're getting artificially review bombed, is that mutually exclusive with the show being bad?
No.
Like you could be getting review bombed because people are angry at how badly you made this show.
Exactly. All right, we're moving on, guys. So I got some fun ones for the end here. You're gonna love this. I'm not sure if we're getting to this late because we had the time off, but Ezra Miller. So they've gotten rid of Henry Cavill. They've gotten rid of Ben Affleck. We don't know about Gal Gadot. Aquaman might be going away and becoming Lobo, but you know what they are going to be doing? Ezra Miller.
Some people said that the DCEU is actually planning like a crime syndicate show, and they're putting Ezra Miller in it, and he's actually just method acting.
I love it.
In real life.
They didn't even tell him the cameras were on. They're just like, can you put this flash suit on? He's like, sure. Why? Like, could you just do that? Like, so it says Ezra Miller in The Flash gets a multi-million-dollar Super Bowl commercial. Look, it makes sense. They have to make their money back on this movie. It's cost them a fortune. This movie was supposed to come out in like 2016. It's 2023. Like, you got to make your money back. It is hilarious though that they're spending the money on this.
Yeah,
I would almost rather they spent the money on Shazam.
I thought that the marketing for this movie was going to, even though it's paradoxical, minimize Ezra Miller's role in it as much as possible.
And they're going to have to do that with the marketing. Like somehow. Like they're like,
I don't know how you can do that.
I love the idea of them doing like large panels and they just leave Ezra's seat open. They don't actually like fill the panel with someone else. They just leave it conspicuously open
with his name tag.
Yeah, and they never. Yeah, like they just lean into it.
He's running late. You know.
Well, hey, that could be the
get
joke.
It?
Like
yeah.
get it because he's behind schedule. He's slow.
Yeah.
So yeah, for his good behavior, Ezra Miller is getting a multi-million-dollar Super Bowl commercial courtesy of Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav. Hey, look, Zaslav is a money man. Like I praise him for it when he does it right, when he cancels things that don't need to be made. In this case, he still has money that needs to be made. But they need to get rid of him.
Rebooting Harry Potter.
They need to get rid of him after this movie. And just like for no other reason, not just on the moral stance, right? Because it's not like hasn't been proven in a court of law. Do I know if it's true? Do I believe that all the stuff that they're saying about it is true? Yeah, I do believe that most of it's true. But just on the publicity side, you need to move on. And there's so many actors that could do that role. Like so many actors that is not something unique to him. It's funny
something
too,
that had like unforeseeable consequences. That's all.
It's funny too because I watched. I started rewatching Royal Pains. I love that show. Royal Pains. It's such bathtub television. It's so like low impact and very, very safe. And his episodes are right there in the first part of season 1. And he's so young and so normal in that show, or he appears so normal in that show, and then you see like what he turned into later, and it's just bonkers.
Yeah, so. I've watched like older interviews of Ezra Miller where he is just like he was genuinely seemingly such a charming and happy, cheerful, professional person, and it's just like crazy how fast someone's mental state can deteriorate in such a short time. And I like, despite all of the gross things that he's allegedly done, I do hope that he can recover.
Elliot Page.
At least that's what he claims he's doing.
Sean Bollinger says Elliot Page is Superman. See, I was the one who jokingly said Elliot Page.
I mean, that's where we're headed.
I jokingly said Elliot Page is the Flash.
Yikes.
Do it. Like, go for the ultimate in woke points, and then you can wokeify all of it, and it'll be fantastic. And then when it fails, you can complain, and we can.
I mean, they did also, transition the gender of her character in Umbrella Academy, so nothing's off the table at this point.
Nope. So it's funny too, because like a lot of
peak
people
of masculinity.
A lot of people were like, just do Grant Gustin. He played the Flash for 9 years. Everyone loves Grant Gustin as the Flash.
Are you saying for the next projects involving the Flash, or are you saying that they should literally reshoot?
They should just a lot of people are saying reshoot, but obviously me and you know that's not plausible. But like they could do that. They could literally just use the Flashpoint Paradox storyline and have Ezra Miller out and have Grant Gustin in. He's the same. He's a little bit older than Ezra. I think he's maybe like 5 or 6 years older than Ezra. But the point is he could do that, and that'd be interesting. I have a soft spot for especially those first 2 seasons of The Flash. The first 2 seasons of The Flash and the first 3 seasons of Arrow, I have a lot of love for. So it would be very cool to bring it back, and then it'd be weird because then he'd be a different Iris West, and he had like Candace Patton played Iris West in his version of it. She's kind of a nutso on Twitter too, from what I remember. But yeah, so you could do that. But
what I'm hoping will happen is that I watched the Flash movie and I actually really like it.
It's gonna be hilarious.
And I feel weird about the fact that I like it. I mean, obviously they've had so much time to put in the effort and pay attention to detail. They've had so many years to labor over this film. It better be good. It better be perfect.
It's
flawless.
Oh yeah, remember there were people saying that it was getting comparisons to Spider-Man No Way Home. I was like, yeah, right. Tom Holland, who's literally the most inoffensive human being on planet Earth, next to maybe Timothée Chalamet.
I mean, again, together we're forgetting that normies exist who don't know about Ezra Miller's misdoings.
Yes.
And I think that maybe they would legitimately find it like charming and fun.
That's a fair point that we need to make. We need to point out more options. Like, look, David Zaslav isn't looking at us.
Like a comparison to Spider-Man No Way Home from somebody who doesn't know anything about Ezra Miller's personal life makes sense.
They're not playing. They're not showing clips from TMZ before the movie. So unfortunately, the fact of the matter is we can not like the idea, but that will be based on moral grounds, not on business grounds. And they're thinking on business grounds.
Yeah.
David Zaslav he can't afford to operate on moral grounds. We would like him to, but he's out there. His job isn't to be a moral person. His job is to make money.
Even with all of the DC fans, or maybe former fans at this point, who are expressing frustration about all of the changes that are being made and, losing casting decisions that they really liked. Like they think that they're going to lose Gal Gadot or they're going to lose Henry Cavill. Like even then they're not relating to the normies who just aren't paying attention. Like they don't know anything about James Gunn or Peter Safran or The Rock or Walter Hamada. Like they don't know any of the stuff that we're talking about, and they'll just go and see it no matter what.
We are in a bubble.
They will consume those products completely unbothered by all of the drama that surrounds them.
We are in our own bubble of sorts, and it's good that we have
we can't overestimate the importance of all of the. Like, I mean, we pay attention to the plans that they're talking about. Yep. Most people don't.
The thing is, I've always loved that stuff. I spend half my time watching movies on IMDb and looking up information about actors. Like, it's just something that I enjoy. Also, somebody in the lovely Nightmare in the chat says better than Ezra. Yes, they could play better than Ezra music in the trailer, and that would be fantastic. They could do that. Also, guys, Robert Downey Jr. reportedly will not appear in Ironheart. Well, thank goodness for that. He only agreed to return as Iron Man in Secret Wars. He shouldn't be returning at all. He should stay out of it.
Why is that?
You did a beautiful send off. Don't ruin it. Stop. They should look. People got mad at me when I said that they shouldn't be bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Let them be dead.
I think that this might actually be because Robert Downey Jr. has no energy left because he's such a militant vegan.
I saw that picture of him.
He's just not able to make it to a set anymore. He's barely hanging on to life because he's living off of rabbit food.
It's I saw a picture of him. It's like they deliberately chose the one where he's like freshly shaven and his cheeks look more sunken. And
some people were saying some really mean stuff like, oh, he looked better when he was on drugs than when he's, a militant vegan.
There was definitely some weird,
he doesn't look good though.
I remember some like weird tweets about like thirst tweets. They're like Robert Downey Jr. when he was being arraigned was a vibe or something. Like it was like him in his jail clothes.
Yeah.
Like his
kind of thirsting for Ezra Miller vibes.
Yeah, they love the bad boys and Robert Downey Jr.
Or just the dysfunctional grown men.
Yep. So it says it's been 3 years since Iron Man sacrificed himself to save the world from Thanos. Not a day has gone by without fans waiting for a miracle that would prop him back into the MCU. Amidst fan theories and speculation, one of the most widely prevalent theories is that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man will possibly get revived in Avengers Secret Wars. Look, don't do it. Just leave him out of there. Don't bring Hugh Jackman back. If they die, especially if they go off, I'm not even saying you can't bring him back if the death doesn't really resonate and you want to try again. I still think it's stupid, but especially when it really works and it's the crescendo to 10 years of work, it feels like you cheapen the 10 years of work you did prior by bringing him back.
There's nothing that Marvel will not cheapen. That's
true.
I think that's what we've learned, and I think I'm actually kind of glad that Robert Downey Jr., for whatever reason, isn't willing to involve himself in Ironheart, because that's just like the MCU pointless series apparatus that's just like constantly churning out new series for Disney Plus that suck.
Yep.
and that, you know, people are actually expected to watch in order to understand the films, which is absurd. And also, I'm not alone in saying that, you know, Riri Williams is not the immensely popular character that she's being astroturfed.
No, anyone who follows, like, if they follow this world, they know that there's like nobody more astroturfed in the world of comics than Riri Williams.
I thought even America Chavez was massively astroturfed. Who else? I mean, Miss Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was maybe worse than all of them because that one was always like, it always felt like they're like, but it's got Marvel in the name. We have to make it a thing. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, this is also one of those things. Somebody in the comments said Infinity Wars, Secret Wars, and then somebody else says Secret Gender Wars. Like, this is the funny thing is, it's another field where, kind of like you were talking about, like the racial makeup in Blood Origin doesn't feel authentic. It's the same thing when you watch a movie and like 80%, in like 40 to 50% of the military is women on battlefields. Is that sexist to say that that's not realistic? No. Is it sexist to say that it breaks immersion? No, I don't think it is. It takes you out of it.
Someone said make Marvel male again.
There's shirts for that now. There's shirts that say make Marvel male again.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It was never male. Like, it was never exclusively
Natasha
male,
was a thing.
But it was
Peggy
just
Carter
not,
was a thing.
The female characters were not as shoehorned in, and also, like,
even Chloe...
lesser known female characters weren't astroturfed as massively popular ones when they're not. And the female characters weren't written as incredibly annoying Mary Sue.
Jessica Jones, like Kristen Ritter in the Jessica Jones series, Ming-Na Wen and Chloe Bennett in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All very, very well done. Even you could say like Peggy Carter. I actually liked the Agent Carter TV show that was only like it was like 12 episodes, and I think they brought it back later, and I didn't watch that. But the first season I actually watched. It was like, it weirdly had Chad Michael Murray in it in a role that didn't make any sense. But like all of those female characters worked and made sense because you could tell there wasn't an agenda behind their casting.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's why a lot of people liked Chadwick Boseman, because it was literally just like, here is a character that is a male leader, non-qualified by anything else.
Yep. Or even they
unabridged leadership.
Matt mentions Wanda. Was it like people loved Wanda? Like Wanda was like she had her own arc. Like the X-Men did female characters fantastically in the early X-Men movies. Like, it can be done.
Well, just wait until they start casting Kardashians in as people from the X-Men series when they're getting incorporated into the MCU.
Given that I am the resident Kim Kardashian stan of this show, you know, I'm here for it. Break the internet, girl.
We love that for her.
Yeah. Like, you put that superhero costume on, girl.
Even Keke Palmer.
No, we draw the line there.
Okay.
All right, we got one more thing, and this one, guys, I was actually going to mention this last Friday, and I forgot, and I was almost glad that I forgot, but Hollywood in a womp 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 that only Hollywood could do. Lily Allen was offered a role of her real-life brother's sister on Game of Thrones. Well, her real-life brother plays Theon Greyjoy. The problem here is, guys...
They wanted them to do incest scenes that were literal, real life.
Even porn wouldn't do this, you freaking weirdos.
I mean, I want there to be an alternative explanation, like, oh, we didn't know.
So it says...
Like, but no.
However, earlier on in the show's run, he almost ended up being joined on screen by his singing sister, Lily, who was offered the role of his sister on Game of Thrones, but ended up not taking it. In the end, she turned down the role because of a creepy moment of incest between Greyjoy's siblings, Theon and Yara. It's actually the character's introduction to audiences and gets incestuous as Theon doesn't recognize his sister at first after so many years, so he starts fondling her on horseback. Imagine for a second that they get to set and they're like, so you're going to put your hand behind, around here, right? You're just going to cop a feel? He's like, no, No, I'm not doing that. That's my actual sister, you freaking weirdo.
Yeah. And this is just after Lily Allen was in the headlines for talking about the nepotism baby trend, and they actually pointed out that she is a nepotism baby, which means that her brother is also a nepotism baby. And hey, maybe this just comes with the territory of being raised in what they call Hollyweird. This is like the pinnacle of Hollyweird.
If Lily Allen had taken the role, she'd have had to act that scene out with her own brother, which would have been awkward as hell, so you can understand why she didn't want to do it. I want to know who the hell asked her in the first place, and I want to know if that person's browser history has been checked at any time in recent
These people
months.
are sick in the head. I swear. I am so frustrated with the overwhelming there's just like absolutely gratuitous amount of sexuality and nudity in mainstream television and movies right now.
Look, and the thing
It's
is, like,
out of control, and it also has promoted this culture where you watch everything alone because it's awkward to watch this shit with your family
can't
or your
watch
friends.
anything with your family
This
anymore.
this is like all the culture of like, you know, watching things on your laptop alone instead of going to a theater or watching things as a family. Like, I hate it. It's the worst thing. I think heavy involvement of sexuality and nudity in TV shows right now especially is worse on so many levels than even the forced diversity stuff. Like, it's so much worse. I would much rather, like, if it were a trade-off, I would much rather have like the forced diversity quota stuff than the insane amount of sexuality and nudity that is in, you know, shows like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Euphoria. It's even in The Witcher. As I'm like trying to sit through it, it's very difficult because I genuinely like, I find it distasteful. Yeah. And I'm not a prude for thinking that. This was not normal. Even 10 years ago, this was not normal.
I mean, Game of Thrones was around 10 years ago, so.
But of course, Game of Thrones is one of the reasons that this is mainstream now, Brett. Yeah. Like, that's the reason why it's expected that sexuality in such a graphic way is a given in television series right now. Game of Thrones was known for that.
Also,
in a way that other shows were not.
Well, here's another thing to think about is part of it is also that back in the day, there was kind of a walled off difference between basic cable and premium cable, and that wall isn't really there anymore. So back in the day, you saw this stuff on Cinemax or on HBO, and not everyone had HBO and Cinemax, right? So now a kid can go and just get HBO Max on their phone. Back in the day, his parents would have had to have gotten it for their home TV, right? Mm-hmm. And they would have regulated likely what he would have watched. I also like the content of the thing is distasteful, but doesn't bother me as much as it does knowing that they actually tried to hire his. Like I said, real porn companies wouldn't try to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just weird how they're like, oh yeah, it's totally normal. But like the actual scenes, I find, I mean, I don't watch that stuff. So like Game of Thrones, I watched the first couple of seasons. Most of the shows that have heavy nudity and stuff like that just aren't the stuff that I end up watching anyways. But it doesn't bother me if other people want to watch it. I'm more concerned about them thinking it's okay to hire an actual brother and sister to do actually sexually kind of vaguely sexually explicit scenes together. That's freaking weird.
Obviously. Yeah. I think that a lot of these people are too steeped in their own mental illness to know that this is not acceptable to the rest of society. That's where the Balenciaga thing came from, maybe. If that is the most charitable interpretation, it's that people are too steeped in their own, you know, artistic dopeness to know that, like, this is not acceptable.
Did you see
this person? Is not within the realm of acceptability.
Did you see the guy who posted the video going to ask for a job at Balenciaga in bondage gear?
No.
Yeah, a guy put on. I don't remember if it was a guy or a girl.
Was this
put
recent?
put on bondage gear and said, "I'd like to apply for a job at Balenciaga," and they're like, "Sir, that's not appropriate clothing."
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was totally normal and also family friendly.
It reminds me of the mom who wore like heavily sexualized clothes to a school board meeting to point out to them why it's wrong for drag queens to do story hour with their kids.
Not sure I'm not sure that's the best way to make a point, but
well, no, the point is they're like, you can't.
At least it's like pointing out their hypocrisy. Yeah, but then of course, like Dane always says, like we get into this cycle of like, it's think about if it were the other way around, like the hypocrisy, bro, the hypocrisy. Like ultimately pointing out the hypocrisy does nothing, what does that do really? Yeah. Just pointing out how weird they are.
In the chat,
I'm just saying, social shaming is public shaming. Bring it back.
Dustin says stepmom always gets stuck. Yes, well, those dryers can be a dangerous place for a step sibling or step parent to find themselves. Here's the problem, though. That's like, at least they're pretending that it's a step parent and they're not actually related. HBO's like, here, you're actually related. Let's do incest.
Also, most of the people watching the show wouldn't know that.
I know.
So they're kind of like trying to pull one over on the people watching.
Yeah, you actually watched something really, really awful and didn't even realize it.
Yeah. I didn't even know that Lily Allen had an acting career, or if this was just like some random role that they offered to her.
I don't know if she's acted other than this.
That's really...
I know her through music.
Even weirder.
No,
and also someone said, like, way to take a stand, Lily Allen. Like, oh,
is that what she was doing?
Yeah, you're taking a stand and doing something very honorable by simply not committing acts of incest on television. Yes, like, great accomplishment. Are you looking at the...
I was looking at
original story.
It was a mom. That's not what this was. It was
And I am a cat.
Oh.
Meow meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great.
I love it. I love it when the problem is that calling out hypocrisy doesn't work because they believe that there's no truth but power. So that it doesn't actually work to point out their hypocrisy because they actually revel in it. They love being hypocrites because they don't actually care about truth. They care about power. So
they'll use like honorable institutions as instruments to take them down.
So yeah, guys, just remember that that's what could have happened on Game of Thrones because Hollywood is full of degeneracy. It is what it is.
So true.
We got some super chats.
I don't see enemy screen. Maybe I need to log in.
I think there was one more. It says, Raven Thor says, I watch sports on network TV for the first time in a while. Every single commercial now has so much forced representation. It's kind of shocking. It feels totally artificial and propagandistic. Yeah, I actually watched when the power was out here. I had to go to a hotel because we thought the power was going to be out for like 3 days. And it ended up like, and they're like all the commercials. It's really funny. Like it doesn't really bother me. A lot of people see it as if they're trying to like you believe that a lot of it has to do with like that you believe that it's some type of social engineering. I
don't believe it. I know it. It's a fact.
I see it as greedy and pragmatic capitalist companies that are like, how can we appeal to the most people in one commercial? They're like, we can
appeal. Because we know that, for instance, white male protagonists in movies make the most successful movies. That's what appeals to the mainstream.
Yeah, and I think that
they're not trying to appeal to the mainstream.
With the I don't know if commercials is the same thing though. I don't know if that's like the logic may be different in the marketing may be different for commercials. Selling like a secondary product is different than selling the product itself, I think.
But the characters are products.
I don't know.
Characters in movies are
I guess, but the movie
especially when it comes to
is the
toys.
product. Like I guess when I think about it, like a lot of people agree with you. Yeah, say 100% social engineering. I tend to take the view that's a little bit more like I just see that as like, do I believe that there's absolutely people in these companies, usually in the human resources department or in your DEI, in your inclusion departments that believe that? Absolutely. Do I believe that a CEO signs off on it because he sees it as like he's been maybe they've given him a logical explanation? They're like their idea is like, yes, we can socially engineer people this way, but do they pitch that to the CEO? No, I don't believe they do that. I believe they pitch it to the higher ups as we can reach more people and it'll improve our score through ESG if we promote this way. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's both, but yeah, social engineering and motivations that are completely separate from profit are involved.
Yep.
And we've got 99 Cent
from Big Dave.
Without a message from Big Dave as usual.
The strong silent
Thank
type.
you, Big Dave.
Ren says, Brett, oh wait, sorry, there's one more. Poco Rosso Forever says, then they'd pander to the majority, not the minority. But the problem is the minority is now a majority, right? Like there's between all the groups, they outnumber the majority. I don't
know.
They called it like a minority majority.
A plurality?
Like between all the different demographics, you reach more people that way perhaps. I don't know. I'm just saying that it feels to me like I take the oddly more comforting, cynical approach that it's just about money.
When I see the Ulta Beauty company putting an ad out there that says fatness is beautiful or something, or like the hashtag the beauty of fatness.
I'm talking
with
more
a fat
about
model who, by the way, is also just like very unfortunate looking in the face. I don't think that appeals to the mainstream, and I don't think that can even be believably pitched as appealing to the mainstream.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing wrong with being unfortunate in the face. It's fine.
What, are you trying to imply that you are?
I don't know who this model is. I remember I do remember, was it the lady from Sephora who got fired for being a conservative?
I don't remember that story.
I think
there are too many to count at this point.
The one who was on Sephora did like a PragerU video where she basically got fired for being a conservative. So it is what it is. It's the world we live in now. It says, Matt says, seeing Hooters is rebranding. They think they'll change it to Roosters.
What?
I think they'll change it.
That's got to be fake.
It's got to be
I
fake.
also saw this, there was like this tweet. I don't know if any of this was true, but like they were trying to change the official uniform at Hooters so that they had to wear like essentially like basically underwear.
And they protested.
Instead of shorts. They protested and they changed it back.
No, they gave them the option that if they wanted to wear the new ones, they could, but they didn't have to. I remember that.
Probably most of them wouldn't.
I don't know. Some of those.
I don't regularly go to Hooters, but I haven't kept up.
Remember, I've never been to. I don't even know if there are any.
I feel like they should be wearing skirts instead of shorts anyway.
I remember that there was a video of like a dad taking his son to Hooters for like his.
How young was he?
He's pretty young, and they were like very upset. Like, the girls weren't even like showing a whole lot, but it was just really funny. Like,
I mean, obviously they're not literally prostitutes or anything, but I think that's not a place where you should bring children.
But it was really funny because they all like they all come up and like are like really sincerely like wishing this kid a happy birthday, and the kid's just loving it, and it's just it's like a weird dichotomy of like this feels wrong, but they're being very wholesome and polite. And
at least they're not being weird about it.
Yeah, it was very funny. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today, Mary. Thank you so much, as usual. It was a good first show back. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it went well.
Do you ever like get worried when we have more than 2 days off in a row that it's gonna be harder coming back?
No, because I have so many of my takes saved up. I've been like telling them to myself in my head while I'm doing mundane tasks. I'm just like talking about pop culture in my head because I'm insane.
See, it's I struggle with it because like I always feel like I'm not going to be able to get back in the groove, but then it always works out. Jacob Edler says they're rebranding Hooters to be a drag restaurant. This has to be a joke.
No, they're not.
This cannot be a real thing.
They're trying to troll you just like all of the TikTokers were trying to troll their parents.
Could be. Could be. All right. Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes. You can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can read my inane thoughts on Twitter, also Mary Archived. I don't know if we have anything else to promote. I guess I also wanted to mention, give us some rates and reviews on Spotify, the listening platforms, wherever you listen. If you listen, if it's on Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, I think there's also Apple Music. Where else are we?
Yep.
On all of the listening platforms, if you give us rates and reviews, that helps our visibility a lot. So I wanted to encourage you guys to do that.
Appreciate it. And in the subreddit, right?
Yeah. As usual, we do meme reviews with some of the best content from our subreddit. So I encourage you to go over there and submit whatever memes or clips you want us to see. And we select them on a regular basis. And hopefully with Dane at our side, react to them.
All right, guys, before we go, could you please like this video, leave a comment on this video. If you agreed with my horrible take or you disagreed with my horrible take on TikTok trends or you agreed with what Mary had to say or whatever we were talking about today, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. It helps us a lot. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. For the show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify, as she just said. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Later.
Bye.